Chapter 1097, The Divine Flame Tribulation. 4. Little Flame, I told you that there's nothing wrong with following Big Sister. Do you believe me now? Chiu, who was lying on Leng Ruoxu's shoulder, said with a hint of pride. Yes, sister. I'll follow you from now on. The little boy quickly echoed. Alright, we have a few more kids like you in our family. You won't be lonely anymore. Leng Ruoxu chuckled. Hee, that's great. Big sister, called Hualing. The little boy said happily. Fire spirit, since you have a name now, it'll save me a lot of trouble. Leng Ruoxu said half-jokingly. However, there were more and more beastie and these little fellows around her, and coming up with a name had indeed become the most difficult thing for her. Fire spirit? Could it be that you, Chiu seemed to have thought of something as it couldn't help but widen its round eyes and ask. Yes, sister. I'm not an ordinary divine fire, but I'm not the most powerful divine fire in the world either. I can only be considered the king of fire. The fire spirit explained in a soft voice. He had only learned about this after he had made a breakthrough. Otherwise, he wouldn't have encountered the nine heavenly tribulation. However, his current inherited memories were very incomplete, and many of them had yet to be fully recovered. Shua, you're quite lucky to have met the King of Fire. The demon chuckled and teased. Fire spirit, since you're the King of Fire, do you know where I can find other divine flames? Leng Ruoxu asked after nodding. Sister, are you looking for the divine fire to fuse with it? The fire spirit asked curiously. He had a familiar feeling towards Leng Ruoxu's fire attribute aura. He was very sure that the fire attribute in his sister's body was an inborn divine flame. Hence, he could not understand why his sister did not need a divine flame at all. Yes, but not for me. It's for a family member of mine. Leng Ruoxu explained. Oh. Sister, to tell you the truth, I'm the only divine flame left on this continent. I've already devoured the others. The fire spirit said with some embarrassment. There were ranks among the divine flames. Even when they were unconscious, the higher-ranked divine flames would automatically devour the lower-ranked divine flames. This was also a cultivation method for their flames to improve their strength. It doesn't matter. Since there's no more divine fire on this continent, we'll look for it when we reach the divine realm. Leng Ruoxu said calmly. Sister, my memory is a mess right now. Let me sort it out and see if there are any other ways to help your family. The fire spirit said after some thought. Okay, then I'll thank you in advance. Leng Ruoxu gently stroked the fire spirit's head as she smiled. It was rare for the little fire spirit to have such a heart. Hence, even if she didn't have any good ideas, she wouldn't blame that little fellow. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm, elder sister is too polite. The fire spirit's face was red with embarrassment. Sister, can we leave this place now? At this moment, Chiu warned. Yes, it's time to leave. Leng Ruoxu nodded. After staying here for so long, her grandfather and the others were probably getting anxious. Little fire spirit, is there anything else you need here? We're leaving. Leng Ruoxu asked softly. No, there won't be any more volcanoes here in the future. The fire spirit said in a sad voice. After living here for so long, he had quite a bit of feelings for this place. It was his advancement that had destroyed this place. However, now that it had become a reality, there was no point in him being depressed. Little fire spirit, don't be sad. Since you've already transformed, of course you have to look forward. Leng Ruoxu knew what was on the fire spirit's mind and could not help but console it. Sister, let's leave. The fire spirit nodded. With that, Leng Ruoxu carried the fire spirit and returned to their encampment in the floating cloud city with the demon. When Feng De and the rest saw the little child in Leng Ruoxu's arms, they couldn't help but widen their eyes. They thought to themselves, why did the young miss kidnap another elf? She's amazing. They would not be like Lu Feng, stupid enough to think that this child was born by the young miss. However, when the first elder, Mo Yen, and Lu Yu saw the child in Leng Ruoxia's arms, their reactions were similar to Lu Feng's. In comparison, Lu Feng was much calmer. Little girl, whose child is this? Why did you bring him back? First elder would not be as ignorant as Lu Feng to think that the child was Leng Ruoxia's. He knew that it would take a long time for a child to be born. My family. Leng Ruoxia laughed evilly. Little fox, you didn't get another elf, did you? Lu Feng's eyes widened as he guessed speechlessly. This girl's luck was a little too good. It really made people envious. Ah! Could he be the fairy that transcended the tribulation? The great elder was experienced and knowledgeable, so he immediately reacted. He was just a little shocked when he saw the little girl carrying a baby back, so he didn't think much about it. Yes. Leng Ruoxia nodded slightly. Ah! What kind of sprite is he? The great elder asked with a face full of curiosity. In his heart, he was also secretly lamenting that this girl's luck was so good that it made people jealous. He is the god fire spirit we have been searching for. Leng Ruoxia said with a smile. And her answer really did give everyone, including the great elder, a shock. Fuck. Even a divine fire had a spirit, what kind of world was this? No one knew that fire could actually produce a spirit, so they were so shocked that their jaws almost dropped. Miss, how do you want the disheveled old man to fuse with this child? We can't possibly eat this child, right? Fengde asked curiously, but he felt a chill in his heart. It was so scary. If it were him, he wouldn't be able to eat it. What are you talking about? I'm not interested in children, I don't like them. Seeing the little boy's frightened look, the disheveled old man quickly said, Damn Fengde, look how scared he is of the little boy. Even if he wanted to upgrade his natal flame to a divine flame, he could not bear to lay his hands on a little baby who had finally managed to take human form. They had all seen the heavenly tribulation before, even though it was far away. Hee hee. I was just curious. I didn't really say you could eat him. Fengde said, a little embarrassed. He also knew that his words were a little inappropriate. He really shouldn't have asked this in front of the little doll. Look, the little doll was scared. Chapter 1098, The Divine Flame Tribulation, 5, Fire Spirit, Don't be afraid. They're just joking. Leng Ruoxia glared at Fengde before consoling him. Yes, yes. I'm just asking out of curiosity. Don't be afraid. No one will eat you. Fengde also comforted him. You don't have to worry. I'll think of a way to help this old man advance his flame. If there's no other way, I'll help him find a divine fire. The fire spirit promised. He had remembered what the disheveled old man had said to him just now. Therefore, he had a very good first impression of the old man. Hee hee, you're such a well-behaved and cute little kid. Grandpa thanks you first. Let Grandpa hug you. The disheveled old man was overjoyed to see the little fellow being so considerate and sensible. Seeing the disheveled old man carrying the child in his arms, the other old men were all envious. Not long after, a few of the older old men started fighting for the little fire spirit. Mo Yen and the others asked about the details of Leng Ruoxia and the demon. Leng Ruoxia explained the situation to them in detail, especially the dangers that the little fire spirit faced during its tribulation. After listening to it, everyone started to admire this little doll. After that, Leng Ruoxia inquired about the situation on their side. When Qi Rui arrived, Leng Ruoxia told him about the volcano's recent situation. However, she didn't reveal the little fire spirit's identity. She only said that the divine fire had failed its tribulation and had disappeared. The volcano had also become a ruin. Qi Rui pondered for a moment and then led his men to explore the volcano. After verifying Leng Ruoxia's words, he decided to leave with his subordinates. After all, from his point of view, the danger of the volcano had been resolved. Furthermore, there wouldn't be any more volcanic eruptions in the future. He could return to his family to report on his mission. Before he left, Qi Rui once again invited Leng Ruoxue and the others to visit the Qi family's divine territory. This time, Leng Ruoxue didn't reject him. After all, Qiu and Bao Bao were the two little fellows who were arguing about going to collect debts. In order to satisfy the two little money grubbers' strong demands, they could only make a trip to the Qi family's divine realm. Grandpa Uncle Lu, don't forget to collect the money from the Qi family on our behalf. Before entering the Qi family's main city, Qiu and Bao Bao reminded him in unison. I can't forget. Don't worry. The first elder said helplessly. It seemed that these two little guys were determined to use him as a gun. However, didn't they think that this was a waste of talent? He believed that he could be of even greater use. Qi Rui, who was not far away, heard the conversation between the man and the two beasts. His mouth twitched as he thought to himself, this time, the Qi family is going to bleed a lot. Sigh. The head elder of the Craftsmen's Guild had personally come to collect the debt, would the patriarch dare to not pay? Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm as he was thinking, Qi Rui had already accompanied Leng Ruoxue and the rest into the Qi family's main city in the God domain. The great elder was carrying two cute, furry little beasts in his arms as he walked at the back of the group. The current grand elder was just an unremarkable old man, and the aura on his body was completely restrained. Therefore, if it weren't for the two cute little beasts in his arms, the pedestrians on the street wouldn't even give him a second look. The Qi family's main city was named Qi City. Like the other main cities in the divine realm, Qi City was very famous. The streets were unusually crowded. As they walked, the grand elder, who was at the back of the group, was separated from his group. Standing on a quiet path, the first elder was extremely depressed. He realized that he was lost. Sigh. If this were to spread out, wouldn't they be laughed at by those old farts? Grandpa Uncle Lu, it's not embarrassing to be lost. Don't be sad. The baby consoled her considerately. Exactly. Big sister often gets lost too. In order to comfort the great elder, Qiu had sold Leng Ruoxue out without any hesitation. Really? That little girl is also lost? When first elder heard this, his interest was piqued, and the depression of being lost was greatly diluted. Hee hee. What's the big deal? Who hasn't lost their way before? Qiu said disapprovingly. Ah. That makes sense, but since we're already lost, let's take a good look around the street. The great elder suggested and began to adapt to the situation. He wasn't in a hurry anyway. After knowing that they had disappeared, the Qi family brat would definitely send people to find them. After saying that, first elder carried the two cute little beasts, Qiu and Bao Bao, and wandered around the street. After Qi Rui brought Leng Ruoxue and the rest to the Qi family courtyard, everyone realized that the great elder was missing. Leng Ruoxue and the rest were not worried, but Qi Rui was. He wasn't worried that something would happen to the great elder council, but he was afraid that someone would offend that old man. Not to mention that no one on the divine mainland could afford to offend that old man, even in the divine realm, few people would dare to offend him. At the thought of this, Qi Rui quickly sent people to look for her on the streets. In the main hall of the Qi family's courtyard, Qi Rui was sweating profusely as he looked at Leng Ruoxue and the rest who were carefree. He was burning with anxiety. Damn it, they had been searching for an entire afternoon and the people he had sent out had still not found the great elder and the two little beasts. They were so useless. Calm down, you're hot. Come, drink some water. Fengde took a glass of water and handed it to Qi Rui. Aren't you guys worried? Qi Rui asked speechlessly. These people were too calm. What's there to worry about? That old man is much stronger than us. Do we still need to worry about his safety? Fengde asked. Ah. You're right, but even if you're not worried, I am. Chi Rui said with a long face. What are you worried about? As long as you don't provoke him, that old man won't cause you any trouble. Feng De promised. The Great Elder's vengeful personality was too similar to the young miss. Sometimes, he couldn't help but think that the young miss was more like the Great Elder's granddaughter than Lu Feng, but that was of course impossible. I'm worried that there's someone in the city who doesn't know what's good for him. Chi Rui spoke his mind, and his heart relaxed a lot. Then they can only blame their bad luck. That old man is a vengeful person. Moreover, he will definitely make those who provoke him regret being born in this world. Feng De said with a smirk. I'm afraid he will vent his anger on the Qi clan. Chi Rui whispered. Hee hee. As long as it's not your Qi family's fault, the Grand Elder won't take his anger out on you. However, if someone from the Qi family really did offend the Grand Elder, then your Qi family can only pray for good luck. Feng De said half-jokingly. I'm afraid of this. Chi Rui said gloomily. The majority of the people in Qi City were inextricably linked to the Qi family. Furthermore, the good and bad were mixed together. Hence, this was what he was most worried about. Then I can't help you, sigh. You take care, I'm going to sleep. Feng De patted Chi Rui's shoulder and said sympathetically, it seems like it's not easy to be a young master. Look at how tired Chi Rui is. If he was worried about this and that, he would have gone crazy. After Feng De left, the rest of the people also found excuses to leave the main hall. However, just as Leng Ruoxue and the demon were about to leave, they were stopped by Chi Rui. Miss Leng, you have to help me. I wonder how young Master Qi would like me to help. Leng Ruoxue chuckled. Miss Leng and First Elder have been together for quite a long time, so you should be clear about where First Elder will be going, right? Chi Rui probed. I really don't know about that. However, have your people searched the entire city? Leng Ruoxue retorted. Yes, my confidant said that they've searched the entire city, but they didn't find the First Elder and the two little beasts. Chi Rui told the truth. He was anxious because the First Elder was not in any of the inns and shops in the city. This person couldn't have just disappeared into thin air. Have you searched the suburbs? There are prison cells in Qi City, right? I suggest you look for it there as well. Leng Ruoxue said calmly. After she finished speaking, she left the main hall with the demon. The suburbs? A prison cell? Chi Rui mumbled to himself thoughtfully before he quickly ran out. Chapter 1099, How Big Do You Want to Play? 1. After Chi Rui left the main hall, he immediately ordered his subordinates to search the outskirts of the city, while he brought some men to Qi Cheng's prison to check. Before entering the cell, Chi Rui first asked the guard if there were any new prisoners today. After receiving a positive answer, his heart sank. Even though the guard said that the person who had been locked up was not an old man, he could not completely relax because the First Elder did not look like an old man. I hope it's not the First Elder, Chi Rui consoled himself. He then asked for the location of the prisoners and went to confirm with his men. When Chi Rui came to the cell door and saw the man sleeping soundly on the recliner through the bars, his heart sank to the bottom. That person was none other than the Great Elder he had been looking for. Damn it, hurry up and open the cell door. Chi Rui growled in anger. Who did this, to actually dare to lock the Armament Guild's Great Elder in a cell? You really don't want to live, but even if you want to die, don't drag others in. Young master, we don't have the key. One of his subordinates said with some difficulty. Break the lock. Chi Rui ordered. Yes. The subordinate replied. As he raised his hand and swung his blade, the huge lock of the cell was split into two. Chi Rui hurriedly ran in and stood beside the Great Elder. He called out softly, Uncle Lu, wake up. However, the head elder only turned over and did not wake up at all. Looking at the Great Elder who was sleeping soundly, Chi Rui frowned anxiously. However, he didn't dare to wake the Great Elder up too loudly, so he could only sigh continuously. At this moment, the guards were brought to Chirui. "Young master, what can I do for you?" the guard said carefully. He was puzzled in his heart. Who was this person? He actually asked the young master to come personally. "Let me ask you, who put this person in the cell?" Chirui suppressed his anger and said. "It's the third young master." The guard felt the young master's anger and carefully replied. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. What reason? Chirui asked with a faint smile. "Chi-yang, this is your own death, you can't blame anyone else." The third young master said that this person stole the Yao family's fifth young miss, beast pet. The guard quickly replied. "What beast pet?" Chirui was a little puzzled. Pet beasts couldn't be referring to the two black-hearted little beasts that the great elder had been carrying in his arms, right? No wonder he didn't see the shadow of those two little beasts by the great elder's side. This subordinate does not know. When this person entered, this subordinate did not see any beast pets. The guard replied truthfully. "I know, you may leave. Do not tell anyone about this." Chirui ordered and immediately ordered his subordinates to invite Leng Ruoxue and the others to the courtyard. However, after waiting for more than 2 hours, he did not see his subordinates invite anyone, so he had no choice but to go personally. When he arrived at the Qi family's courtyard, Chirui saw his subordinates standing outside Leng Ruoxue's courtyard. "Why are you guys standing outside?" Chirui asked in confusion. "Young master, they said that Miss Leng has already gone to rest and asked us not to disturb her." The subordinate said, somewhat speechless. "Who said that?" Chirui looked around but did not see anyone. "We were the ones who said it," baby, who was guarding the door, said indifferently. "Ah." Chirui followed the voice and looked down. He saw a purple fox in disguise. The fox's silver eyes were filled with disdain. Chirui was depressed. He was despised by Leng Ruoxue's beastie again. This was not the first time. "I want to look for Miss Leng," Chirui said courteously. Despite his disdain, he still had to see Leng Ruoxue. He believed that only Leng Ruoxue could help him with this matter. "I've said it before, my cute master is sleeping. If you have anything to do, please come early tomorrow," baby said, not giving him any face. "Ah. All right then." Chirui had no choice but to turn around and leave. He could not afford to offend any of these little beasts. The next day, when Leng Ruoxue and the others came out of the room, they saw Chirui pacing back and forth at the entrance of the courtyard before they even stepped out of the courtyard. Baby and the other little beasts were standing side by side at the entrance, blocking his way. "My lovely master." When Baby and the other beasties saw Leng Ruoxue, they immediately pounced on her, allowing Chirui to enter the courtyard. "Miss Leng, you're finally awake." Chirui heaved a sigh of relief. "Young Master Qi, why are you here so early in the morning? What's the matter?" Leng Ruoxue played dumb. "Ah. There's something," Chirui said with some difficulty. "If you have something to say it." Leng Ruoxue smiled faintly. She knew what he wanted to say, but she could only pretend that she didn't know. "The great elder has been locked up in a cell in Qi City." Chirui hesitated for a moment before mustering his courage to speak. "What? Who did it?" He was really too bold. He was an idol. "He actually did something that I've always wanted to do, but never dared to." Before Leng Ruoxue could reply, Lu Feng could not help but exclaim. Furthermore, it seemed like he was gloating over her misfortune. "Ah." After hearing Lu Feng's words, Chirui's cold sweat started to drip down. He never dreamed that Lu Feng would have such a reaction. This was really beyond his expectations. However, he was not in a good mood like Lu Feng. In fact, he was worried to death. "Quickly tell me, who locked up that old man?" "I'm going to ask him for advice. Where did he get the courage to do that?" Lu Feng pulled on Qi Rui's arm and asked anxiously. He's my third brother. Qi Rui told him the truth. That old man isn't someone who likes to cause trouble. What excuse did he find? Lu Feng mumbled to himself. He couldn't figure it out no matter how he thought about it, and his eyebrows were knitted together. It's all because of Miss Ling's two little beasts. Qi Rui sighed and said, Ling Ruoxu's two beastie were too cute and too adorable. There were very few girls who could reject them. Wasn't this the trouble caused by the beastie again? Don't tell me those two little things were robbed again. Lu Feng guessed. Chapter 1100, How big do you want to play? 2. Yes, I didn't see those two little beasts by the Grand Elder's side. Qi Rui said honestly. Ha ha ha. Whoever snatches those two little fellows will be the unlucky one. When Lu Feng heard this, he couldn't help but laugh out loud. That's great, there's something fun to do now. Which young lady from the Qi family snatched Qiuqiu and baby away again? Mo Yen also asked curiously. With the great elder around, the two little beasts were still stolen. This was very interesting. Those two little beasts should be in the hands of the Yao family's fifth young lady. Qi Rui said after some thought. The fifth young lady of the Yao family? I don't know him. Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. Miss Leng, please help me get the great elder out first. The grand elder refused to leave the cell. The old man had woken up before the sun had risen. He had wanted to bring the first elder out, but he had insisted that the Qi family and the Yao family give him justice. He would rather die than leave the cell. What did the great elder say? Leng Ruoxue asked. First elder said that he had never stolen anything in his life, so the Yao and Qi families have to give him an explanation. Qi Rui told Leng Ruoxue the grand elder's exact words. In fact, the grand elder didn't tell him the details, and he had been guarding the grand elder in the cell, so he didn't know much about the truth. Oh. Leng Ruoxue responded softly and did not continue. Miss Leng, come with me to the prison. I'm at my wit's end against the grand elder. Qi Rui begged. Sure, but you'll have to wait until we're done with breakfast. Leng Ruoxue chuckled and then called everyone to the dining room to eat. When they arrived at the dining hall, the servants in the courtyard had already prepared breakfast. Leng Ruoxue and the rest sat down and began to eat. However, Qi Rui, who was also sitting at the dining table, seemed to be absent-minded. Leng Ruoxue could not help but smile and comfort him. Young Master Qi, calm down. Since things have already come to this, there's no use in being depressed. However, I can tell you clearly that it's impossible to be kind. After hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, Qi Rui knew that there was no way to deal with the aftermath of this matter. He had already tried his best. Forget it, he didn't care anymore. Some people in the Qi family should be taught a lesson. After thinking it through, Qi Rui no longer felt that the meal was like chewing wax. Continue reading on MYB 0xN0VEL. Calm after breakfast, everyone went to the prison cell and toured it. After entering the cell, Feng De and the others looked around as if they had entered a grand view garden, and they even talked about it from time to time. Your Qi family's prison cell is pretty clean, but there aren't many prisoners inside. Feng De said with regret. Ah. That's right. A few drops of cold sweat dripped from Qi Rui's forehead, not knowing how to answer. I've never stayed in a prison in the divine realm before. Why don't you lock me in here for a few days too? Feng De asked with anticipation. I don't think so. There's nothing fun to do in the prison. Qi Rui said in a hurry. He was so depressed that he didn't know what to do with the first elder. If they were all locked in, the Qi family wouldn't be able to survive in the godly mainland. But, I'm very curious. Feng De said, unwilling to give up. Ah. We're here, the grand elder is inside. When Qi Rui saw that they had already reached the front of the great elder's cell, he hurriedly shouted and couldn't help but wipe the cold sweat on his head. He thought to himself, Fortunately, we've arrived, it was so dangerous. Len Ruoxue and the rest stood outside the cell where the Grand Elder was locked up. They saw the Grand Elder eating and drinking well inside the cell. There were 5 to 6 servants serving him. Great Elder, you're really happy to be in prison. Len Ruoxue laughed evilly. Little girls, you've come to see me. Woo! I finally get to see you. The Great Elder threw away the beast leg in his hand and looked at Len Ruoxue and the others through the bars with teary eyes. It was as if they had not seen each other for a long time and Len Ruoxue and the others were here to check on him. Stinky old man, you should reform yourself properly and strive to be released from your sentence as soon as possible. Lu Feng laughed and teased. Chi family brat, lock this stinky brat in here as well. Hell, keep this old man company. The Grand Elder ordered. Ah! Chi Rui almost fainted after hearing the First Elder's words. Why did you have to involve an outsider like me in your matters? Moreover, he was the Great Elder. The cell door wasn't locked. Old man, do you have to make Len Ruoxue and the others look so miserable as if they were here to visit? There's no need for him to close it, I'll go in myself. At this time, Lu Feng spoke again. After he finished speaking, he walked directly into the cell. Ugh! Chi Rui was dumbfounded. What was going on? Little girl. I've let you down. I wasn't able to protect Qiu and our baby, and they were actually stolen by someone else. Furthermore, those bastards even accused me first, saying that I stole Qiu and our baby from the Yao family's 5th young miss. This old man has lived for so many years, but I've never stolen anyone's things. I didn't expect that I'd lose my integrity at an old age, woo. I don't want to live anymore. The Great Elder complained tearfully. His words were enough to make those who didn't know the situation feel sympathy. Great Elder, please take care of your body. In this world, evil people are in charge. We, the vulnerable group, should just endure it. AI. Len Ruoxue sighed and said sympathetically. I wonder how the cute little Qiu and the baby are doing. Those 2 little guys won't be mistreated, right? The First Elder said with a worried expression. AI. I'm also worried. Len Ruoxue sighed. However, she was worried that Miss Yao would be abused by Qiu and her baby. Ever since they had been captured by the Qi family's young miss, the 2 little things had been receiving special training from their precious and other beasts. They had learned a lot of new torturous ideas, and he wondered if the Yao family's young miss could take it. Little girl. Since you already know my whereabouts, you can go back first. I'm fine, the treatment here isn't bad, and I'm quite used to living here. You don't have to worry about me. You should think of a way to save Qiu and the baby first. The Great Elder didn't even say 2 words before he started to drive them away. Okay, then we'll go back first. Len Ruoxue agreed. After she finished speaking, she turned around and left with Feng De and the others. Chapter 11:01, How big do you want to play? 3. Seeing this, Chi Rui felt helpless. He could tell that even when Len Ruoxue and the rest arrived, the First Elder had no intention of leaving the cell. It seemed that grandfather had to personally come forward. Thinking of this, he bade the Great Elder farewell and left the cell. After Chi Rui left the cell, he went straight to the back mountain of the Qi family's main residence. That was the Qi family's forbidden area and also the Qi family's place of seclusion. However, only the family's respected elders were qualified to cultivate there. At this moment, his grandfather, the head of the Qi family, was cultivating in seclusion there. Chi Rui was only allowed to enter after receiving permission from the guards of the forbidden area. Arriving at the door of his grandfather's secret room, Chi Rui said softly, "Grandpa. Come in." A man's voice came from the secret room. After getting his grandfather's permission, Chi Rui opened the door of the secret room and walked in. Rui, is there something important? A middle-aged man of about 50 years old sat on a futon and looked at his grandson. Grandfather, Chi clan has offended someone they shouldn't have. Chi Rui said softly. If it wasn't for the fact that he couldn't do anything about it, he wouldn't have bothered his grandfather. Rui, tell me the matter clearly. What exactly happened? The middle-aged man's brows immediately furrowed when he heard this, and he spoke with some displeasure. Yes. Chi Rui took a deep breath and explained everything that had happened. However, before he could finish, a bang was heard. The table in front of him was smashed by his grandfather. Grandpa! Grandpa! Chi Rui called out softly. Although he had expected that his grandfather would be angry when he found out about this, he did not expect that his usually reserved grandfather would show his anger in front of him. This group of incompetent bastards. The middle-aged man cursed. Grandfather, please don't be angry. It's all because I'm too useless. If it wasn't for the fact that I couldn't solve this matter, I wouldn't have dared to trouble you. Recently, his grandfather had often gone into closed-door cultivation to seek a breakthrough. Although it was not a life-and-death cultivation, he would not bother his grandfather unless it was an important matter. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm, how can I blame you for this? What did your uncle say? The middle-aged man asked. Grandpa, I haven't seen uncle yet. Chi Rui said honestly. Where the hell did he go? The middle-aged man roared in anger. Damn it, his son had caused such a big trouble, and he, as the father, was not here. This was outrageous. Fortunately, he had only handed the Chi family to him temporarily. Otherwise, their family would have been defeated by him sooner or later. Grandpa, you'd better ask uncle yourself where he is. It's not convenient for me to tell you, but I've already sent people to get big uncle back. Chi Rui said with some difficulty. Rui, go and gather the elders. I'll be there immediately. The middle-aged man ordered after some thought. All right, he said. Yes, master. Chi Rui replied and left the forbidden area. After informing the elders to gather in the meeting room, Chi Rui went ahead to wait for them. The elders arrived one after another. When they saw Chi Rui, they couldn't help but ask, Young master, the patriarch and the great elders are not here. Why have you gathered us at this time? You'll know in a while. Chi Rui said indifferently. Not long after, the head of the Chi family and the first elder arrived at the meeting room. When the elders saw the family head and first elder who were in closed-door cultivation, they were all puzzled. Weren't these two in closed-door cultivation together? Why did he come out so quickly? Rui, tell the elders about this. The head of the Chi family instructed after taking the main seat. Yes, Grandpa. Chi Rui responded and then told the elders about the matter. When the elders present heard this, their faces all turned pale and they didn't speak for a long time. This matter was really too big for them. After a long while, an elder regained his senses and asked carefully, Young master, are you sure that person is the head elder of the Craftsmen's Guild? If seventh elder doesn't believe me, you can ask the main family to send someone to confirm it. However, I can tell you that the last time I went to Fiery City to attend Rumai's wedding, it was this first elder who presided over it. Chi Rui said indifferently. But, the seventh elder still had some questions, but under the glare of the family head, he didn't dare to continue asking. If the elders still have any doubts about the identity of the great elder, you can just send a tool master to the prison to verify it. At this moment, the Chi family's first elder coughed and said, Right. Right. It should be verified more clearly. The seventh elder quickly chimed in. Seventh elder, if that's the case, then you should go with Master Feng. The first elder ordered. Master Feng was a weaponsmith that the Chi family had hired. Even though he was not as famous as Leng Xiaoyu, he was still considered a reputable weaponsmith in the world of blacksmiths. Yes. Grand Elder, please be at ease. I will definitely investigate that person's identity. The seventh elder promised. However, when the seventh elder investigated, he was as listless as a frost-beaten eggplant. When everyone saw his expression, they all understood that the person's identity was probably real. Are you willing to believe me now? Qi Rui sneered. Young master, you have to think of a way. Otherwise, our Qi clan will be in deep trouble. The seventh elder begged with tears in his eyes. I can't do anything about this. If I had a way, I wouldn't have gone to ask grandfather. Qi Rui's voice was cold. When something happened, he had to think of a solution. Why didn't he think of him when there was something good? Young master, I heard that you returned with the Grand Elder and the others. I believe you two have some friendship. The seventh elder asked. We came back together, but I don't have much of a relationship with them. Don't you think about the position of the Great Elder? Moreover, I can tell you clearly that the Great Elder is here to collect a debt. Qi Rui sneered. Rui, what do you mean? The head of the Qi family asked with a face full of question marks. Was there something he didn't know? Grandfather, when Big Uncle arranged for me to go to the Floating Cloud City to investigate the volcano, Ling also insisted on going with them and even had a conflict with them. The cause was also those two little beasts. Qi Rui explained simply. Chapter 1102, How big do you want to play? 4. Where is Ling? Tell her to get her ass over here. The master of the Qi family was furious. Grandfather, Ling is recuperating in her room. Qi Rui said. On the way back to Qi City, Ling Ruoxiue and the others had ruthlessly taught that willful cousin of hers a lesson, so Ling had become much more well-behaved. After returning, she had immediately entered her room, not daring to meet anyone. Then tell her to come out. The head of the Qi family roared. Yes, I'll send someone to call him. Qi Rui said hurriedly. Not long after, Qi Ling was brought to the meeting room by the guards. When Qi Ling saw the family head and the seventh elder sitting in the hall, she immediately rushed to them with tears in her eyes and cried, Grandpa, Grandpa, you have to avenge me. Qi Rui actually ganged up with outsiders to bully me. Presumptuous, who gave you the right to call Qi Rui? You should call him young master. The head of the Qi family narrowed his eyes and said unhappily. Normally, he would turn a blind eye to Qi Ling's rudeness. However, after they had caused so much trouble, he could no longer indulge these unfilial descendants. Grandfather, I'm your most beloved granddaughter. You. How can you shout at me? Qi Ling said in an extremely aggrieved manner, tears flowing down from the corners of her eyes. He's the young master of the Qi family, the future head of the family. The head of the Qi family reminded. Perhaps his past strategies were all wrong. He should not have let Rui tolerate them. Now, it was great. These people were raised to be lawless. Grandpa. Qi Ling looked at the seventh elder for help. However, the seventh elder, who had always doted on her, turned his head. Guards, lock Qi Ling up. Without my permission, no one is allowed to let her out. Otherwise, I will punish her with the family law. The Qi family's head angrily ordered, and then, the crying Qi Ling was dragged away by the cold-blooded guards. As for whether she still had a chance to be released, the elders present were not in the mood to care. Elders, tell me what we should do about this. After Qi Ling was taken away, the head of the Qi family spoke again. Family head, I think we should ask the great elder to come out of prison first. Otherwise, if this matter gets out, I'm afraid the family head will blame us. An elder reminded. If I could, would I need to ask you? The head of the Qi family sneered. Don't you know that it's easy to invite a god, but difficult to send him away? Did they really think that the head elder of the Armament Guild headquarters was so easy to catch? He actually said that they stole two little beasts. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but feel angry. Ah! When the elders heard this, they fell silent again. I'm afraid it'll be difficult to send off the great elder. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Com, Rui, personally go to the Yao family and invite the head of the Yao family for me. The head of the Qi family ordered. Since this matter had involved the Yao family, then they shouldn't even think about staying out of it. If this matter couldn't be resolved, he would have to make a scapegoat. Yes, Grandpa. I wonder what reason you'll give. Qi Rui asked. Just say that his precious granddaughter got into trouble and he has to deal with it personally. If he doesn't want to come, you can tell him the details. The head of the Qi family said after some thought. Yes. Qi Rui nodded and left the meeting room. After Qi Rui left, the head of the Qi family and the first elder personally went to the prison to visit the first elder. However, the grand elder clearly did not welcome them. After seeing them, he acted as if he had not seen them. The Qi family head and grand elder could not help but look at each other with bitter smiles. This time, Qi clan had really kicked an iron plate, and it was a 10,000-year profound iron plate. Hello, first elder. I'm the Qi family's head, Qi Yuan. The Qi family head introduced himself. I'm the Qi clan's first elder, Qi Tong. The Qi family's first elder also said. Oh. What can I do for you two Qi family kids? The first elder said indifferently. Great elder, this junior was rude and offended you. I hereby apologize to you. Qi Yuan said very sincerely. First elder, I'll also apologize to you. Qi Tong also hurriedly said. You guys didn't bump into me? The first elder blinked his eyes and asked with a face full of question marks. It's my useless grandson who offended you. As his grandfather, I have to apologize to you. Qi Yuan said helplessly. Oh. In fact, they didn't really offend me. They just said that I stole Yao's beast pet and even took my beast pet away. AI. My poor Qiu and baby. It's been a day, I wonder if you've been abused by that damn woman or if you've starved. The first elder sighed and muttered to himself. First elder, don't worry. We'll help you find your tamed beasts. Furthermore, we won't let them lose a single hair. Can you please leave this place with us first? Qi Tong coaxed. Can I really lose a single hair? I don't believe you. The great elder laughed evilly, his eyes full of schemes. If they lose even a single hair, I guarantee that the Yao family will compensate them at the same price. What do you think, great elder? Qi Tong asked with a smile. He wasn't stupid, those two beast pets were snatched for the Yao clan's fifth young miss, so if they had to compensate, it would naturally be the Yao clan. So, even if they were to lose a single hair, it was none of their Qi clan's business. I like what you said, but I was locked up by the third young master of your Qi family. This old man has lived for so long, but this is the first time I've been locked up. The first elder laughed. Ah. Grand elder, if you have any requests, please state them. We will definitely satisfy you. The moment Qi Tong heard that there was a chance, he hurriedly said. I don't have any requests. If you really have a request, it'll seem like I'm extorting you. In fact, I'm really innocent. The great elder said with a long face. First elder, what I mean is, we are willing to compensate you for the mental damage you have suffered. Qi Yi hurriedly changed his words. Oh. To be honest, I'm really hurt, sigh. If word of this gets out, what face would I have left in the divine realm? The first elder said gloomily. Don't worry, great elder. I promise that this matter will not be spread. Qi Yuan also said. What's the use of your promise? I haven't even seen your family's third young master yet. I want to confront him face to face. When did he see me steal the Yao family's fifth young miss, beast? The first elder said with some anger. Chapter 1103, How big do you want to play? 5. First elder, the third young master has accompanied the young lady of the Yao family out of the city. We've already sent people to look for him. Once we find him, we guarantee that he will be brought to you as soon as possible and be at your disposal. Chi Tong said in a fawning manner. Don't say that, I wouldn't dare to punish the Chi family. I just want to prove my innocence, that's all. The first elder said with some fear. That's right, we can't afford to offend the Chi and Yao families. At this time, Lu Feng also interjected. Ah. May I ask who you are? Chi Tong looked at the young man who was sitting opposite the great elder and asked curiously. Lu Feng's back was facing him previously, so he thought that this person was the great elder's subordinate. However, after seeing Lu Feng's true face, he didn't dare to think that way anymore. This person's appearance and bearing were definitely that of a person who had been in a high position for a long time. He's just a small fry, not worth mentioning. Lu Feng's tone was cold. Ha ha ha. He was Lu Feng. Compared to me, he is indeed a nobody. The great elder laughed and exposed Lu Feng's identity. Old man, even if you don't speak, no one will think you're mute. Lu Feng said with a slight dissatisfaction. So what if I said it? Bite me. The first elder chuckled. Listening to the two of them bickering, Qi Yuan and Qi Tong's foreheads were filled with cold sweat. They thought to themselves that their Qi city's prison cell this time could be recorded in the history books. To think that the great elder and vice president of the Armament Guild were locked up in there. In the entire divine realm, there probably wasn't any prison cell that had such an honor. However, no one would want such an honor. Qi family kids, you can go back now. Don't come and disturb us if there's nothing important. While he and Lu Feng were glaring at each other, First Elder didn't forget to instruct Qi Yuan and Qi Tong. Yes, Great Elder. Sir Lu Feng, we will take our leave first. The two of them looked at each other and said in unison. After Qi Yuan and Qi Yi left, Lu Feng rolled his eyes at First Elder and calmly asked, Old man, how big do you want to play? What do you mean by playing big? I'm not a gambler. The First Elder replied indifferently. After he finished speaking, he even took a bite of the food on the table. Then, he spat it out in disgust and said, This dish is really unpalatable. Go back and ask the little girl to make something delicious and send it to me. Old man, you're treating me like an errand boy? Lu Feng's eyes were wide open as he said in dissatisfaction. Isn't it? I thought you were here to run errands for me. The First Elder said as a matter of course. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm, you. Lu Feng was so angry, but he still resigned himself to his fate and left the cell to find food for the picky First Elder. 3 days later. The head of the Yao family arrived in Qi City in a hurry. When he arrived, he did not see the head of the Qi family, so he went straight to the prison cell. However, after being refused entry, he could only go to see Qi Yuan with a bitter face. In the main hall of the Qi family's residence. Qi Yuan sat on the main seat with a straight face, not saying a word. Seeing this, the head of the Yao family could only remain silent. Although he wanted to ask more about this matter, the old fox of the Qi family did not give him the chance. Yao family head, I'm sure you've already met the great elder. What are your plans? Qi Tong, who was sitting on Qi Yuan's left, asked. This. I wonder what the Qi family's plans are. Whatever your Qi clan does, our Yao clan will do the same. The head of the Yao family made up his mind. Master Yao, although my Qi family is also responsible for this matter, the main responsibility lies with your Yao family. So, if your Yao family deals with it the same way as us, I'm afraid First Elder won't be satisfied. Qi Tong reminded. Then what do you guys think we should do? How can I please the great elder? The head of the Yao family asked helplessly. When he heard the news, he almost fainted from shock. These granddaughters and grandsons were really too troublesome. They had actually provoked the Armament Guild headquarters, Great Elder. What should they do now? If the main family knew about this, they would have to be sacrificed in order to appease the Great Elder. I don't know, but the Great Elder's 2 little beasts are still in the hands of your family's 5th miss. The Great Elder said that if his 2 little beasts are missing a single hair, your Yao family will have to compensate according to the price. The Great Elder said, feigning an imperial edict. Yup. Yao family head, I wonder where your family's 5th young lady has taken my disappointing grandson to. It's been 3 days and we haven't even found their shadow. Qi Yuan asked angrily. If they couldn't find the Yao family's 5th young lady, it was the same as not being able to find the 2 little beasts. He was very afraid that the Yao family's young lady would play with the 2 little beasts, which were said to have no attack power, to death. If that happened, wouldn't the Great Elder have to fight them to the death? Don't worry, Qi family head. I've also sent people to look for him. I believe they'll find him very soon. The head of the Yao family said with a smile. How can I not be anxious? I've heard the subordinates of those 2 little beasts say that besides being cute, they don't attack at all. Your family's daughter's hands are neither light nor heavy. If you accidentally kill those 2 little beasts, can you bear the anger of the Great Elder? Qi Yuan questioned. He felt embarrassed when he thought about this. She was the daughter of the Yao family, after all. She could get any beast pet she wanted. If they had to rob others, then so be it. And she still had to accuse others of stealing from her. What the hell is this? AI. Apart from sighing, the head of the Yao family didn't know what else to say. In contrast to the tense atmosphere in the Yao and Qi clan, Leng Ruoxue and the rest were very relaxed in the courtyard. After Qi Rui invited the head of the Yao family back, he went to the courtyard to look for Leng Ruoxue and the others. However, when he saw Leng Ruoxue and the others chatting and laughing with ease, not looking worried at all, he couldn't help but feel ashamed. Looking at the quality of their hearts, and then looking at himself, he wanted to find a hole to hide in. You're back. Leng Ruoxue greeted Qi Rui indifferently when she saw him. Yes, I haven't found Qiu and the baby. Qi Rui said, a little embarrassed. He was still a little worried about the safety of the 2 little beasts. After all, the 2 little fellows did not attack. I know, Leng Ruoxue smiled faintly. She also missed Qiu and the baby a little. It was time for them to come back. Miss Leng, I'm really sorry. I didn't expect such a thing to happen when I invited you to Qi City. Qi Rui said apologetically. There's no need to apologize. Although Qiu and Bao Bao have been captured, it's still uncertain who will be the unlucky one. Leng Ruoxue replied nonchalantly. Actually, she had been keeping in contact with the 2 little fellows for the past few days. She knew that the 2 little things were having a lot of fun. Naturally, there was nothing to worry about. Her beastie wasn't that easy to snatch. If she didn't make them pay a painful price, how could those people remember? Ah. When Qi Rui heard Leng Ruoxue's confident words, he had no choice but to swallow all his apologetic feelings. It was only a few days later, when he saw Qi Yang and the 5th young lady of the Yao family, that he completely believed Leng Ruoxue's words. At the same time, in a barren mountain not far from Qi City, 2 small beasts, one yellow and one black, were jumping and shuttling through the forest. Behind them were dozens of people. The 2 little beasts ran and stopped, occasionally turning back to look. Stop! You 2 little bastards, come back! A woman's shrill cry rang out from the desolate mountain forest, immediately scaring the timid birds and beasts away. Shoo! Keep your voice down, you're scaring the beasts. Besides, we're not beasts, the beasts are the people who are chasing us, hee hee. The baby turned around and said with a smirk on her face. Her little mouth even twitched arrogantly. Baby brother, don't talk nonsense with them. I'm tired from running too, let's take a rest. Qiu said, panting. All right, he said. The baby nodded, and the 2 little guys sat down on the spot. They're tired. Catch them. The woman ordered loudly. Yes. Yes, the subordinate replied and immediately surrounded the two little beasts who were resting. However, they knew that these two little beasts were very cunning, so they were very cautious and raised their vigilance. Calm down, relax. We won't run anymore. Cho chuckled when it saw the guards acting as if they were facing a great enemy. You two little bastards, how dare you run away? Watch how I teach you a lesson. The woman stood in front of her baby and Cho and shouted angrily. In order to chase them, her legs were about to break from all the running. She had never run so far before. She was so angry. We won't run anymore, well be good, please spare us. You little bastard. The baby begged with tears in her eyes. Yup. We won't run anymore. Cho also hurriedly chimed in. That pitiful little appearance could really make one's heart ache. Humph. If you dare to run again, it'll break your legs. The woman couldn't help but say with a smug tone after seeing the two little beasts admit defeat. We're not running. Cho and Bao looked at each other and laughed. They promised in unison, hee hee. Of course, they wouldn't run anymore. The game had just begun. Chapter 1104, You've lost a lot of fur. 1. Lock them up in the prison, let's see if they still dare to run. The young woman ordered her subordinates. Don't throw us in jail. We promise to be good and not run. Cho pitifully begged. Yes, I can also guarantee that. The baby raised its little paw and made a vow. A cunning light flashed in its eyes. All right then. From now on, you have to perform well. If you make this young lady happy, this young lady will not lack your meat. The young woman said with satisfaction. Ah. The group of subordinates looked at their young miss with strange gazes. They thought to themselves, did young miss take the wrong medicine? He actually let go of these two little beasts so easily. It was really too inconceivable. This wasn't like the young miss. However, they were even more surprised. In the next few days, the young woman would grant all the requests of the two little beasts. She was just short of worshipping them like they were her ancestors, causing all her subordinates to complain. Because these two little beasts had too many requests, they were so tormented that they were about to fall apart. I want to eat barbecued meat. I want to eat grilled fish. This meat isn't cooked. This fish is overcooked. Cho and Bao looked at the subordinates who were busy spinning around like a top. They were extremely picky and kept finding fault with them as they prepared food for them. Little ancestor, this fish and meat are just right. You'll know when you eat it. One of his subordinates said with a sad face. We don't need to eat to know that it's definitely not good. Feed the pigs all the food you've made. We don't care. Bao said in disdain. Ugh. This subordinate was depressed. He was supposed to feed the pigs with the food he had prepared, but where did the pigs come from? Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm however, in the blink of an eye, he was dumbfounded because he really saw boar beasts. And it was not just one, but a group. The herd of boar beasts swarmed over from a distance. For a moment, dust flew everywhere, making it difficult for them to open their eyes. By the time they dared to open their eyes, the boar beasts had already destroyed all the food they had prepared and disappeared without a trace. This group of swine beasts had completely verified the meaning of the saying, come without a trace, leave without a trace. Everyone present was completely dumbfounded. Where's the food? You bunch of good-for-nothings, can't even look after some food. When the young woman saw that their food was all gone, she couldn't help but roar in anger. Was it easy to find some food in this barren mountain? He actually didn't look after her properly. She was really angry. Miss, the soil was too big just now. We couldn't open our eyes. One of his subordinates explained in a low voice. You still dare to talk back to me, humph. As punishment, you're not allowed to eat for the entire day. The young woman said angrily. Man, don't be angry. I have some food here. You can have it. Qi Yang took out a piece of dried meat from his storage ring and handed it to the young woman, Man. I'm not eating. This thing is so hard, how can I eat it? What are you guys doing? Hurry up and go hunting. Man ordered her subordinates. Yes. The subordinates replied and immediately went hunting. However, half a day had passed, and not a single one of her subordinates had returned. Seeing this, Man flew into a rage again. Damn it, where the hell did they go? Are you trying to starve me to death? Man complained angrily. Man, don't worry. I think it's not easy to find the prey in this mountain. That's why they've been away for so long. Qi Yang consoled in a soft voice. Not easy to find. Then where did the boar beasts come from? The thought of it made Man even angrier. Qi Yang was at a loss for words. He couldn't figure out where the boar beasts had come from. What's that sound? Suddenly, there was a buzzing. The voice came from afar, and Man immediately became alert. However, her reaction was still too slow. Moreover, the owner of the voice was already very close when she spoke. Tens of thousands of densely packed bees were swarming toward the two of them. Arg! Get lost! Get lost! Get away from me! Man shrieked as she tried to dodge the swarm of bees, but no matter how hard she tried, she was always surrounded by the swarm of bees, and the number of bees was only increasing. Not only her, Qi Yang was also surrounded by countless bees, and when the bees gradually dispersed, the two of them had countless bumps of different sizes on their faces and arms, causing them to feel both pain and itch. When the two of them saw this, they quickly took out an antidote and put it in their mouths. However, it only slightly relieved the itch and pain. Why are you two little bastards fine? Man accidentally saw Qiu and the baby watching them and couldn't help but be furious. We're too small, they didn't notice. Bao laughed evilly. Oh. I'm leaving for a while, Man said, not suspecting him. After she finished speaking, she hurriedly went into the tent. However, Baby and Qiu didn't need to guess to know what she was doing. After a long time, a scream suddenly came from the tent. Arg! Help me! Man's voice reached the ears of the man and the two beasts. Qi Yang immediately ran into the tent when he heard it, but then, there was another paw. The sound of a slap. When Qiu and the baby heard this, they instantly covered their little mouths and laughed secretly. After that, there were a few more bang sounds. However, this time, it was as if Qiu and the baby didn't hear anything. They went into their small tents and went to sleep. The next day, when Qi Yang and Man came out of the tent, both of them didn't look too good. Seeing this, Qiu and Bao immediately put on an innocent look and said with a little resentment, "Why did you guys go in for so long? We're all going to starve to death." "They're not back yet?" Man asked awkwardly. She was obviously referring to her subordinates. "No, I didn't, T. There's only the four of us here now, so go find us some food," the baby instructed. "Little bastard, you dare to order me around?" Man was a little angry. She could pretend that she didn't see how these two little bastards tortured her subordinates, but she couldn't order them around. Chapter 1105, You've lost a lot of fur, too. If you guys don't want to go, do you want us to go? With our small arms and legs, can we even catch any prey? Bao said matter-of-factly. Man, I'll go. You can rest here, Qi Yang said considerately. After he finished speaking, he prepared to leave the camp. However, before he left, he was so angered by Qiu's words of concern that he almost vomited blood. "Big brother, you have to be careful. Don't go and never return like those people," Qiu reminded him in an extremely pure manner. Qi Yang glared fiercely at Qiu Qiu for a few seconds, then turned around and left in a huff. As he left, he kept consoling himself, "Don't be calculative with a little beast, that's beneath your dignity." Qi Yang didn't return even at night, so Qiu Qiu and Bao Bao couldn't help but ask Yao Man Man worriedly, "New master. Then does Big Brother not want you anymore? Look, he has been gone for so long and still hasn't returned. AI. They must have abandoned you. He would dare." When Yao Man Man heard this, the anger in her heart started to burst out. She thought for a moment and said to the two little beasts, "You two, come with me to find them." "All right. I love finding people," the two little beasts said happily. Then, they jumped onto Yao Man Man's shoulders and followed her to look for the person. After searching for 2 days, Yao Man Man was so hungry that she had even finished eating the dry rations that she despised the most before she finally found Qi Yang's traces in a dark cave. By now, Qi Yang was so famished that he could no longer differentiate north from south. "Qi Yang, get up here and die." Standing at the entrance of the cave, Yao Man Man ordered. "Man Man, I can't go up. Give me a hand." Qi Yang said weakly, but his heart was filled with hatred. "Damn stupid woman, if I could go up by myself, I would have gone up a long time ago. Would he have waited until now? Wait here, I'm going to find something." With that, Yao Man Man started looking around for a stronger vine to pull Qi Yang up, but she couldn't find a single one that was slightly thicker. "Man Man, haven't you found her yet?" Qi Yang, who had been waiting at the bottom of the cave for too long, couldn't help but ask. "No, the surrounding vines can't withstand your weight," Yao Man Man said honestly. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. New master, you can use your whip," Qiu Qiu reminded. "Ah. I'll try." Only then did Yao Man Man remember that she still had a whip. She pulled it out from her waist and swung it at the cave. However, the cave was very deep, and Qi Yang couldn't reach it. "New master, your belt should be long enough to connect to the whip," Bao Bao suggested. "Yes." Yao Man Man took off her belt obediently and swung the whip down again. However, even though it was long enough, not only did she not manage to pull Qi Yang up, she was even pulled down by his weight. "Qi Yang, you idiot!" Yao Man Man, who had been dragged into the water, roared from the bottom of the hole, which made Qiu Qiu and the baby burst into laughter. "You two little bastards, stop laughing." Hearing the ear-piercing laughter, Yao Man Man's anger shot up to the top of her head. However, her words made the two little fellows laugh even more heartily. "Ha ha ha! This is so funny." Bao Bao and Qiu Qiu laughed and rolled on the ground. Their little paws even naughtily threw the soil around the cave into the cave. At this moment, a huge figure stood in front of Qiu Qiu and its baby. Then, it cooperatively used its large claws to throw the soil into the hole. "Arg! Damn it, stop right now." Yao Man Man was caught off guard and was hit on the head by a large rock that was thrown from outside the cave. Blood immediately flowed down her forehead. "Boss, should we stop?" the huge figure asked. "Of course not. Continue," Bao Bao said with a smile and looked at her new little brother with great satisfaction. "Hee hee. This bear is not bad. He carried out his orders very well." "All right." The giant bear grinned and said happily. Its paws, which were like small mountains, kept throwing the soil around the cave into it. "Don't throw it away anymore, I'm begging you." After a long time, a pleading voice came from the hole. At this time, Qiu Qiu and Bao Bao looked down curiously and saw that Qi Yang and Yao Man Man had been buried up to their necks. The soil that had buried them was thick and sticky. It was now almost sticking to their bodies and sticking to them. "Didn't you say that you wanted to die on the same day, same month, and same year? I want to help you." Bao Bao laughed evilly. "Damn it, how did you know? How dare you eavesdrop on our conversation?" Qi Yang roared in anger, because these were the words he had said last night. "Tisk, do I even need to eavesdrop? You guys were talking so loudly, I'm afraid all the living creatures in the mountain heard you. Bao Bao said with a hint of mockery. Qi Yang was furious. Damn it, he had actually been angered to the point of speechlessness by a little beast. This really hurt his self-esteem. Please think of a way to save us. Surprisingly, Yao Man didn't get angry. Instead, she started to plead. It's not impossible to save you, but what benefits can we get? The baby looked up at the sky and asked calmly. I am the 5th young lady of the Yao family. I can give you anything you want. Yao Man said hurriedly, but she couldn't help but curse in her heart. Damn you little bastards, I'll deal with you guys when I get out. As she cursed, she didn't forget to give Qi Yang a look. Yes, I am the 3rd young master of the Qi clan. I can give you whatever you want. As long as you save us, everything can be discussed. Qi Yang took a deep breath and coaxed. I see. All right then. Bao Bao pretended to be deep in thought and nodded. She laughed in her heart. These two idiots. Did they really think that it was so easy to deceive? Then, it gave its newly adopted little brother bear a look. Little brother bear understood and stretched out its long arm, pulling out 2 radishes from the ground. As soon as the 2 radishes, Yao Man and Qi Yang, landed on the ground, they wanted to take revenge even before they could see the situation in front of them. However, they were knocked out by little brother Xiong with a punch each. Chapter 1106, You've Lost a Lot of Fur. 3. When they woke up, they found themselves tied up to an extremely thick tree trunk. In front of them, other than Qiu and their baby, there was also a 2-meter-tall brown bear staring at them with a pair of big, bell-like eyes. You. What do you want? Don't mess around. I'm the young lady of the Yao family. Yao Man threatened, a little scared. I don't know if you're really stupid or just faking it. In this situation, you still dare to threaten us. Little brother bear, let your friends come and teach them a lesson. The baby pouted and ordered. Yes, boss. Little brother bear then blew a loud whistle. Not long after, buzz was heard. The voice rang out once more, and Qi Yang and Yao Man's expressions changed drastically. At this moment, no matter how stupid they were, they knew that the swarm of bees yesterday was with Bao Bao and Qiu. However, before they could say anything, they were surrounded by the bees. After a while, the swarm of bees disappeared, and Yao Man and Qi Yang were once again covered in bumps of different sizes and shapes. Bao Bao looked at the bee colony's masterpiece with satisfaction and asked with a faint smile, Do you want to have a taste of being bitten by venomous snakes and insects? No, let us go. Yao Man said painfully. Her entire body and face were extremely itchy. Although she wanted to scratch it, she was tied up and couldn't move at all. She could only rub her head against the tree, but that didn't solve the problem. Qi Yang's condition was not much better than hers. Let you go? In your dreams. Bao Bao pouted and said in disdain. Little brother bear, do you want to take in 2 little brothers? The baby asked again with a smirk. Ah. Boss, what do you mean? Little brother bear's face was full of question marks. Why don't you take them in as your servants? Bao Bao suggested. Servant? I don't want to. Boss, to be honest, I despise them. Little brother bear said honestly. Ah. What could he do then? Why don't you ask the queen bee to take them in as servants? The baby asked after thinking for a while. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. The queen bee also disdains them. I think those poisonous insects quite like them. However, the level of those poisonous insects is too low, so they can't take in servants. Little brother bear said very seriously. So they won't be able to give it out. The baby was in a difficult position, and their conversation made Yao Man and Qi Yang faint from anger. When the two of them woke up again, they were no longer tied to the tree. However, the two of them were completely exhausted and had no strength left in their bodies. They couldn't run even if they wanted to, and Baby and Cho naturally treated the two of them as servants and ordered them around. In less than a day, Yao Man and Qi Yang had been tormented to the point that they were lying on the ground and refused to get up. It was only when the two little beasts received Leng Ruox's voice transmission that their suffering was finally over. After that, Cho and Baby Su ordered Qi Yang and Yao Man to make a simple recliner. Then, the two of them carried it back with little brother Xiong supervising them the entire way. The two of them and the three beasts returned home. When Qi Yang and the Yao clan's fifth young lady appeared at the city gates in tattered clothes, the news of their return was immediately sent to the Qi clan's main residence. After the Qi clan and Yao clan received the news, they headed straight for the city gates. Leng Ruoxue and the rest naturally received the news from Cho and knew that they had returned. They also headed in the direction of the city gates. When the three groups of people arrived at the city gates and saw Qi Yang and the Yao family's fifth young miss, their eyes and mouths were all wide open in disbelief. Ugh! Were the two beggars in front of him really Qi Yang and the fifth young miss of the Yao family? The Qi clan and Yao clan members mused. At this moment, Qi Yang and the Yao clan's fifth young lattice clothes were in tatters, and their exposed skin was covered in scars. Their faces were red and blue, their eyes were swollen to the point where only a slit was left, and their lips were swollen like two sausages. If it were not for the identity medallions on their bodies, no one would have believed that these two were the Qi clan's third young master and the Yao clan's fifth young lady. On the chairs they were carrying, there were two cute furry little beasts, one black and one yellow. The two little beasts' fur was smooth and soft, and they shone dazzlingly under the sun. At this time, the two little beasts' eyes were half closed, clearly enjoying the warmth of the sun. There was also a giant bear that was more than 2 meters tall, guarding the two little beasts like a guardian. After discovering Leng Ruoxue, the two little beasts pounced into her arms like two bolts of lightning. They kept on rubbing against each other, and their intimacy made everyone envious. Sister, Wu. We miss you so much. It's all because of these two bad guys that took us away and caused us to be separated. Sister, you must torture them to death. Otherwise, it'll be hard to dispel the hatred in our hearts. Cho and Bao said the words that they had discussed earlier in unison in an indignant tone. When the Qi clan and Yao clan members heard the two little beasts' words, they looked at Qi Yang and the fifth young lady of the Yao clan and wisely chose to remain silent. However, all of them were silently thinking to themselves that even Qi Yang and the fifth young lady of the Yao family were in such a state, it still wasn't enough to dispel the hatred in their hearts. However, none of them dared to say this out loud, in case they were caught in the crossfire. That would not be worth it. Patriarchs, I'm sure you'll give us a satisfactory explanation. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile that was not a smile. After she finished speaking, she turned around and left with Fengde and the rest. After Leng Ruoxue and the rest left, they did not return to the courtyard. Instead, they went straight to the prison in Qi City. Qi Yang and Yao Man were brought back to their respective families. In the prison cell. When the great elder saw the two little beasts that he had lost and found again, he was so moved that tears filled his eyes. He tightly hugged the two naughty little fellows and did not speak for a long time. When everyone saw this scene, they were in disbelief. Wasn't this great elder a little too emotional? You two little rascals, you've made me worried to death. The great elder grumbled in a pampering manner. Although he knew about the two little fellows' plan, he was still worried about their safety. If it wasn't for the little girl's calm composure, he would have left the cell to look for them. Chapter 1107, You've lost a lot of fur. 4, Grandpa Grand Elder, aren't we fine? We will protect ourselves. The baby quickly comforted her. Grandpa Grand Elder, are you having fun here? Did anyone bully you? Little Cho also asked with concern. It's fine, I have Uncle Lufeng to accompany me. I have good food and drink, who would dare to bully me? The first elder chuckled. Hee hee. That's good. But, great elder, when will we receive our compensation? Chiu asked like a little money grubber, her face full of anticipation. Don't worry, you won't be able to escape. If you lose even a single hair, it'll make the Yao family bleed. The Grand Elder said in a domineering manner. His words were heard by the Qi clan and Yao clan members who had just entered the cell. Immediately, the two clans began to panic. First Elder, these two little beasts have returned. What do you think? The head of the Yao family lowered his voice and said. However, he did not dare to be too direct. After all, he was the one who needed help. So what if you're back? Can we just pretend that nothing happened when we're back? The eldest boss raised his face and said with slight displeasure. Ah. Great Elder, I didn't mean it that way. The head of the Yao clan hurriedly said, his heart drenched in cold sweat. Then what do you mean? As far as I know, these two little beasts came back on their own. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with your young masters and young mistresses. The Great Elder asked with a dark expression, causing the Qi and Yao families to tremble with fear. If my two little beasts weren't so smart, I'm afraid they would be dead by now. The first elder said coldly, and then said to Chiu and Bao Bao with a pleasant expression, Tell Grandpa, how did they bully you? Did you guys lose a single hair? Grandpa Great Elder, those people took the two of us to a barren mountain and wanted to harm us. However, they were more unfortunate. The bees in the mountain didn't like them, so they stung them all over their heads and saved our little lives. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be able to see Grandpa Great Elder again. Sob, Chiu cried and complained pitifully, tears continuously rolling in its eyes. Grandpa Great Elder, we've lost a lot of fur, woo, my beautiful and precious fur. He left me just like that. The baby added, and his fluffy little face was full of sadness. You guys heard it. Not only did your young masters and young ladies take my two little beasts away, but they also tortured them in every way possible, causing them to be physically and mentally injured. What do you guys think we should do? The first elder said angrily. Great Elder Grandpa, they're still accusing you of stealing from us. Chiu reminded him in a low voice. Right, and you accused me of stealing the beast. The first elder glared at him coldly and roared fiercely. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Ugh. After hearing the words of the Grand Elder and the two little beasts, the members of the Qi family and the Yao family all heaved a long sigh. Fuck. What the hell is this? Which part of these two little beasts looked like they had been abused in every way? From their point of view, Qi Yang and Yao Man had been subjected to inhumane abuse. However, this was determined by the Great Elder's words, so even if they had objections, they didn't dare to say it out loud. Otherwise, who knew what other crimes the Great Elder would pin on them? Don't think that you can hide just because you're not talking. Let me tell you, if you can't give me a satisfactory explanation, it'll go to your master to judge. I've lived for so many years, but I've never been locked in a cell or accused of stealing. The first elder saw that the Qi family and the Yao family didn't dare to talk, so he threatened them. In fact, their main family already knew about this. Grand Elder, please calm down. We will definitely satisfy you. Seeing this, Qi Yuan had no choice but to speak up. Well, that's more like it. When First Elder heard Qi Yuan's words, he pretended to nod his head in satisfaction. First Elder, now that your little beast has returned, do you think you can leave this place? Qi Yuan seized the opportunity and said that if the Great Elder continued to stay here, he would not be able to stay in the Qi family main residence anymore. He might as well move here to accompany the Great Elder. Leave? No, you guys haven't satisfied me yet. This old man won't leave. The Great Elder refused without even thinking. What a joke, would he still have the chance to come in if he left? At that time, what if those two old geezers from the Qi and Yao families turned against them and went back on their word? Who could he go to? Therefore, he was determined not to leave. First Elder, it's not a good idea for you to stay here all the time, right? Qi Tong received the clan head's eye signal and interrupted. Who said that? I think it's pretty good here. The only downside is that there are always people coming to disturb us. If only you didn't come. The first elder said with a regretful expression. Ah. The Qi clan and Yao clan's people were collectively depressed. They thought to themselves that they wanted to come here. However, there was the great elder in this prison, so they had no choice but to come. Besides, unless the great elder took the initiative to leave, they really could not ask him to leave. You can all go back. Don't disturb my rest. The great elder began to drive people away again. Great elder, please. You've been staying here all this time. If word gets out, the Yao family head didn't finish his sentence, but he believed that the great elder would understand. So what if it spread? I'm going all out, paper can't hide fire, this matter will be known to others sooner or later. The first elder said as if he had thought things through. Ugh! This time, the people from the two families were speechless. The great elder didn't care about his reputation, so what else could they say? However, they didn't dare to let this matter spread out. Otherwise, it would be even more disadvantageous for them. Helplessly, everyone could only turn around and leave. Just as Leng Ruoxue and the rest were about to leave, they were stopped by the first elder. Little girl, bring me some more delicious food. The first elder said with a face full of smiles. Put the money on the Qi and Yao clan's accounts. The great elder added. No problem, he said. Leng Ruoxue nodded and left the cell with Feng De and the others. Qiu and baby Su stayed in the cell to accompany the great elder. Chapter 1108, You've lost a lot of fur. 5. The next morning. Qi Yang and Yao Man were also brought to the great elder, to be dealt with as they pleased. However, the great elder only glanced at them casually and said in disdain, Why did you bring these two guys here? I don't want to see them. So it's you, you damn old man. Yao Man roared in anger as soon as she saw the great elder. No wonder she and Qi Yang had been locked up as soon as they had returned to the city. She had not understood what had happened back then. No one mentioned to her why she was locked up, but the touch of being touched when she returned to the city to see her clansmen disappeared with her being locked up. Man. Don't be rude. Without waiting for the great elder to speak, the Yao family head who heard these words roared angrily. Damn it, was this Yao Man trying to get the Yao family killed? What kind of status did the head elder of the Armament Guild headquarters have? Could she scold him? Grandpa, how can you shout at me for this old man? I'm your real granddaughter. Yao Man retorted with a face full of dissatisfaction. Pa! The head of the Yao family slapped Yao Man across the face, and his entire body trembled in anger. When first elder saw this, he smiled but didn't say anything. He lowered his head and kept teasing Qiu and the baby in his arms. Grandpa, you actually hit me. Tears welled up in Yao Man's eyes as she said in an aggrieved tone. She had never thought that her grandfather would hit her for a strange old man. She couldn't accept it. She turned around and roared madly at the grand elder and the two little beasts, It's all because of you three old bastards and little bastards that I got beaten up. I won't let you off. Just you wait. Lu Feng, Grandpa is being threatened. When the great elder heard this, he immediately complained to Lu Feng pitifully. Qiu and Bao also tacitly learned from the first elder and asked for help from Lu Feng. Brother Lu Feng, we've also been threatened by a beast. Lu Feng's mouth twitched when he heard the words of the old man and the two children. He helplessly said, Miss Yao, are you sure you won't let them off? The head of the Yao family was about to speak when he heard Lu Feng's words. However, under Lu Feng's fierce glare, he didn't dare to say anything. However, at this time, his heart was burning with anxiety. He really wanted to knock out the willful Yao Man so that she wouldn't cause endless trouble for the Yao family. However, Lu Feng wouldn't give him this opportunity. He directly bound him and made him unable to move. Of course, our Yao family will not let them off. Yao Man said arrogantly. Hee. Miss Yao sure has big words. I hope your wish will come true. Lu Feng laughed and mocked. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm, little Feng, you can't just ignore Grandpa. Seeing Lu Feng like this, the great elder pretended to be pitiful. Grandpa. It's not that I don't care about you, but I can't afford to offend the Yao family. Lu Feng sighed, his handsome face filled with helplessness. Humph. You're tactful. Hearing Lu Feng's words, Yao Man became more and more smug. However, Lu Feng ignored her words. He looked at Qi Yang and curiously asked, Young Master Qi, why aren't you saying anything? Ah. He's not feeling well and can't speak now. Qi Yuan said hurriedly, and thought to himself, that was close. Fortunately, they had the foresight to give Qi Yang a medicine that could temporarily shut him up. Otherwise, if Qi Yang had spoken nonsense like Yao Man, then the Qi family would not have been able to survive in the divinity. Young Master Qi, did my grandfather steal Miss Yao's beast? Lu Feng asked with an evil smile, hee. Don't you know how to nod if you don't speak? That's right, those two little bastards were originally mine, but they were stolen by this old man. Before Qi Yang could answer, Yao Man cut in. Miss Yao, I didn't ask you. Lu Feng said with a smile that wasn't a smile, his bright eyes staring at Qi Yang. However, before Qi Yang had the chance to reply, he fainted. The person who did this was none other than Qi Tong, who was standing behind Qi Yang. Yang, Qi Tong cried out in shock. Following which, he apologetically said to the great elder and Lu Feng, I'm sorry, Yang, is not feeling well. I'll take him away first. I'll bring him to First Elder to ask for forgiveness later. Yesterday, after Qi Yang and Yao Man returned, the two families had been discussing how to get the Great Elder out of prison and what kind of compensation would satisfy the Great Elder. So, they had forgotten to tell them about the Great Elder's identity. When they thought about it today, they had already arrived at the prison. In a moment of desperation, Qi Tong and the Patriarch had discussed giving Qi Yang some medicine to prevent that unfilial grandson from speaking nonsense in order to please the Yao family's young lady. Now it seemed that he was indeed wise. Looking at Qi Tong's self-directed act, Lu Feng didn't say anything, nor did he try to stop him. On the contrary, he quite admired Qi Tong's actions. After all, if one didn't do it for himself, the heavens would punish him. If they could push the Yao clan out, their Qi clan would be relatively safe. Seeing Qi Tong take Qi Yang away, the Yao family's head was filled with anger. However, no matter how angry he was, it was useless because he couldn't move, let alone knock Yao Man unconscious. Miss Yao, you're the only one left now. Qi Yang is sick and can't testify for you. Are you still going to insist that the two little beasts are yours? Lu Feng asked with a smile that was not a smile. Of course, they're mine. Yao Man said with conviction. Hee. Fine, if you say it's yours, then it's yours. But I want to tell you that the Qi family and the Yao family's patriarchs will be here in 3 days. Lu Feng announced an explosive piece of news. Instantly, Qi Yuan and the head of the Yao family were blown away. However, when Yao Man heard the news, she couldn't help but smile happily. Ha. The patriarch is coming, and you're all dead. Miss Yao, don't be too pleased with yourself. It's not even certain who will die. Lu Feng warned with a light smile. Suddenly, plop. With a loud bang, the head of the Yao family, who had suffered a great shock, also fell to the ground. Aya, your family head has fainted, what are you all still standing there for? Hurry up and help him up. Lu Feng quickly warned his subordinates. The Yao family's subordinates finally reacted and hurriedly helped the unconscious master up. Then, they all looked at Lu Feng, at a loss, waiting for his next order. Why are you guys looking at me? Hurry up and help your family head back. Oh right, take this woman with you as well. We'll only need her in 3 days, but she's not allowed to appear in front of us now. Lu Feng ordered. Yes. Yes, master. The Yao family's subordinates replied. Then, they carried Yao Man and the head of the Yao family back to their residence. After that, Qi Yuan was also asked to leave. Qi family head, why aren't you leaving yet? Are you waiting for dinner? Lu Feng said with a smirk. Ah. I'll take my leave first. Qi Yuan wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said hurriedly. He couldn't help but feel sick when he left. It wasn't even noon yet. Even if he had to wait, he should wait for lunch, right? After everyone had left, Lu Feng calmly looked at the great elder and said, Old man, are you satisfied now? Not satisfied? Humph. I'm going to make those 2 old things bleed this time. I'm not that easy to be wronged or locked up. The first elder said indignantly. Old man, can I say that whoever provokes you will be the unlucky one? Lu Feng said with a light smile. Stinky brat, in the entire divine realm, you're the only one who's still alive and well after making me angry all the time, do you understand? The first elder lifted his eyelids and said in a faint voice. I know. Lu Feng said with a mischievous smile. Then, he stood up and swaggered out of the cell. After Lu Feng returned to the Qi family courtyard, he immediately went to look for Len Ruoxue and told her about the Grand Elder's plan. Then, he returned to the prison. 3 days later. A few influential figures had come from the divine world. Any one of these figures could cause a great earthquake in the divine world. Besides the current family heads of the Qi family and the Yao family, the family head of the Ning family had also come along with a few elders from the Craftsmen's Guild. The first thing these people did when they arrived at Qi City was to visit the first elder in the prison. The master of the Ning family saw the great elder leisurely staying in the cell and couldn't help but laugh happily, ha ha ha. I can't believe there'll be a day when an old thing like you is locked up in a cell. It's really rare. The head of the Ning family was very happy, but the heads of the Qi family and the Yao family weren't as optimistic as him. They were even prepared to be ruthlessly ripped off by this old man. Who asked the descendants of their own families to be so disappointing? When they thought of this, their hearts ached. Grand Elder, we've personally come to pick you up. Can we leave now? The head of the Qi family asked politely. Chapter 1109, It's Not Our Fault That We're Cute, 1, Yup. Great Elder, we've come to pick you up. You can leave now. The head of the Yao family hurriedly asked. This place is pretty good, do you guys want to come in and stay for a few days? The first elder asked indifferently, completely ignoring their questions. That's a good suggestion. I've lived for so long, but I've never been in a prison cell. Ha ha ha. Qi family brat, arrange a cell for me too. Let's just stay next to this old man. The master of the Ning family immediately agreed. However, when Qi Yuan heard this, he couldn't bring himself to be happy. He even felt like crying. Woo-woo. Wasn't it enough to have a grand elder and a vice president of the Armament Guild headquarters staying in their Qi city's prison cell? The master of the Ning family actually wanted to move in. This was clearly bullying. Don't make things difficult for the younger generation. The head of the Qi family quickly said when he heard the words of the Ning family. What a joke. The first elder was already hard enough to deal with. If old man Ning moved in, the Qi family would go bankrupt. I'm not making things difficult for the younger generation. I'm serious. The master of the Ning family said seriously. Whether it's true or not, you have to go back to your Ning family's prison. Our Qi family's prison can't hold a Buddha like you. The head of the Qi family said hatefully. Damn old man, you only know how to wish for the world to be in chaos. It was really infuriating. The great elder can be locked up here, but I can, You're clearly looking down on me. We've been old friends for so many years, yet you won't even give me this little bit of face? The master of the Ning family felt extremely wronged, and even had an expression that said, you look down on me. Don't mess around. The head of the Qi family said with a headache. You said I'm causing trouble. I'm angry. Master Ning's face darkened, and he angrily sat in a corner, ignoring everyone else. Seeing Master Ning like this, Master Qi really wanted to beat him up. Now, he had to solve the first elder's problem. What are you doing? Still acting cute, isn't that shameless? Great elder grandpa, this old grandpa is acting coquettishly. Hee. Cho suddenly spoke up when it saw Master Ning's appearance. Yes, that old man is always like this. Ignore him. The first elder said disapprovingly. This old fellow didn't respect his elders and was even putting on an act here. Wasn't he afraid of being laughed at? Little guy, you actually called me old grandpa? The master of the Ning family looked at the little beastie in the arms of the great elder and said. Hearing Cho's childlike words, he was instantly a little unhappy. He was still young, okay. How could he call him old grandpa? He would be called old. Did I call you the wrong person? Cho blinked its clear and innocent eyes and asked with a face full of question marks. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm, that's right, he's an old man. He's already so old, but he still likes to act young and cute. Little Cho, ignore him. The great elder didn't give any face and exposed the Ning family's master's true face. Oh. Old grandpa, you're not allowed to fight for my favor. Little Cho stood in front of the great elder like it was protecting its food and opened its chubby little claws. I don't intend to fight with you for your favor. That. Little guy, let's discuss, can you not call me old grandpa? The master of the Ning family said with a charming smile. You're the old grandpa. Sister said that children should be honest and not lie. Cho said with a troubled expression. This is not a lie, really. Which part of me looks like an old grandpa? The master of the Ning family said sincerely. Everywhere. Cho sized up Master Ning very seriously, then said with absolute certainty. In fact, Master Ning looked like he was in his 30s. He was very handsome, tall, and had an extraordinary aura. However, because he had acted cute just now, Cho didn't like him very much and deliberately called him old grandpa. You're really not a cute little fellow. The master of the Ning family complained in a low voice. Damn old man, you dare to say that my Cho isn't cute? When the first elder heard the Ning family master's complaint, he glared and said in dissatisfaction. No, how could this little Cho not be cute? The master of the Ning family quickly changed his words. You're tactful. The first elder said in a domineering manner. The Qi family and Yao family patriarchs were speechless when they saw this. They had come to settle the first elder's matter, but now that the Ning family old man had messed it up, they couldn't do anything. Cough cough. Thinking of this, the Qi clan and Yao clan's patriarchs coughed a few times, drawing their attention. Take some medicine if your throat isn't good. Don't disturb us when we're talking about serious business. The master of the Ning family said unhappily. When the Qi family and Yao family heads heard this, they couldn't help but curse in their hearts. Fuck, is that considered serious business? They were the real deal, alright? Master Ning, we're here to pick up the Grand Elder and take him away from here, the head of the Qi family couldn't help but remind him. I know. But this old man isn't leaving. You can't just drag them away. The master of the Ning family laughed evilly, and the devil in the depths of his heart was getting restless. Not long ago, he had been robbed by this old man many times. Now, it was Chi clan and Yao clan's turn, so he couldn't miss this good show. It's not impossible for me to leave this place, as long as you can give me a satisfactory explanation. At this time, First Elder slowly opened his mouth and said, Grand Elder, can you leave this place first? We will definitely give you a satisfactory explanation. The head of the Chi family coaxed. Don't leave those two to me. I'm not interested in them. The First Elder reminded. Everyone knew that the two guys he was referring to were Chi Yang and Yao Man Man. Didn't they annoy you? It's normal to leave it to you. The patriarch of the Yao clan said. Don T. If you hand them over to me, I don't have anywhere to deal with them. If I really have to deal with them, then so be it. Who knows, someone might even say that I'm bullying the younger generation. The First Elder said in an understanding manner. If he really wanted to get rid of those two juniors who had provoked him, would he have waited until now? And since he had brought them here, he didn't intend for them to play dumb. It definitely wouldn't work if he didn't bleed a lot. Then what do you want? The head of the Chi family made up his mind and finally asked the question he didn't want to ask the most. Chapter 11:10. It's not our fault that we're cute, too, you're quite smart. The First Elder laughed as he spoke, before rolling his eyes at the Yao family head. This is the list of items that I've prepared for you two to compensate me and these two pitiful little beasts. Please take a look. The Great Elder did not beat around the bush. Instead, he directly took out two pieces of paper that were densely written and handed them to the two. The Chi family and Yao family heads took the list and almost fainted when they saw it. This was really a lion's mouth. Every item on the list was either priceless or priceless. They couldn't be bought even if they had money. This was clearly trying to rip them off. First Elder, is there any room for discussion regarding the things on this? The head of the Yao family pretended to be calm as he asked, implying that he wanted to bargain. No, I didn't, T. Don't worry, these things won't harm your two families. Outsiders don't understand the financial power of your two families, but I do. The Great Elder said very proudly. He had thought about these things carefully and was familiar with them. Although it would hurt them a little, it definitely wouldn't cause them to turn hostile. After all, they had known each other for so long and could be considered friends. Naturally, he couldn't go too far. Grand Elder, I've agreed to all the conditions on this list. Can you leave the cell now? The head of the Chi family said readily. He just wanted to get the First Elder out of the cell as soon as possible, so he was prepared to pay a huge price. The items on the First Elder's list were exactly what he had expected. After all, the First Elder's status was obvious. Naturally, he couldn't offer any ordinary conditions. The Yao family head hasn't agreed yet. The First Elder looked at the head of the Yao family and said with a smile. Yao family head, quickly agree. If you don't agree now, perhaps the Great Elder will raise the price. The head of the Chi family reminded him in a low voice. When the head of the Yao family heard the words of the Chi family, he was extremely depressed. Fuck, he also wanted to agree, but the compensation that his Yao family had to pay was much more than the Chi family's. This was too unfair. Grand Elder, I don't understand. Since the Chi clan and our Yao clan's juniors have offended you together, why is it that our Yao clan has to pay more compensation than the Chi clan? The head of the Yao family asked shamelessly, and his words almost angered the head of the Chi family to death. Fuck. No wonder you didn't agree, it turns out that you're haggling over this matter. At this thought, the head of the Chi family decided to draw a clear line with the Yao family. After all, they had originally planned to work together to bargain with the First Elder. That's true. However, I've always been clear about who's the mastermind and who's the accomplice. So, the compensation for your two families is naturally different. The Great Elder explained. great elder is wise, the head of the Chi family quickly flattered. Chi family head, I want to receive the compensation within 3 days. Otherwise, I'll collect interest. First elder warned. Yao family head, the same goes for you. If you don't pay the compensation I want within 3 days, the interest will double for every day you delay. First elder reminded. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm. After hearing what the great elder said, the two family heads' lips twitched, and they secretly sighed. Fuck, there's even interest. This great elder is really getting better at sucking blood. How would they know that first elder had actually learned to collect interest from Len Ruoxue? Alright, you can leave now. I'll leave this cell when you pay me the compensation. AI. After living here for so long, I've developed feelings for him. The great elder muttered to himself as he drove the person away. The Qi and Yao family heads knew that this old man never went back on his word, so they didn't plan to stay any longer. However, just as they were about to leave, they were stopped by little Qiu. Wait! Qiu suddenly said. Little guy, what do you want? The head of the Qi family said in a soft voice. You haven't paid me and my brother's compensation yet. Qiu said, a little scared. Ah! Qiu's words had just fallen when everyone, including First Elder, was stunned. The Great Elder looked at the two little treasures in his arms and thought to himself that the compensation he wanted included these two little fellows. However, the Great Elder wisely chose to remain silent. The Qi and Yao clan patriarchs looked at each other, before Patriarch Qi asked in confusion, Little guy, what kind of compensation do you want? When we were in the floating cloud city, a bad woman from the Qi clan wanted to capture us. After we arrived in the city, we were captured by that bad woman from the Yao clan. The public security in your Qi clan's divine realm is just too poor, causing me and brother Bao Bao to be physically and mentally injured. We have also suffered a great deal of damage, so you have to compensate us. Little Qiu listed out the crimes committed by the Qi family and the Yao family one by one, and the faces of the two family heads kept changing like a palette. After a long while, the two patriarchs finally calmed down a little. The head of the Qi family took a deep breath and asked calmly, I wonder what kind of compensation this little fellow wants. I don't have the status of Grandpa Grand Elder, so I'll just go with Grandpa Grand Elder's request and cut it by half. However, I only want heavenly resources and earthly treasures. I'm not interested in anything else. The little ball stated its request. However, its words caused the Qi and Yao family heads to be extremely angry. A small beast actually asked them for compensation and even asked for half of the Great Elder's. However, they knew that the small beast was under the Great Elder's protection, so even if they were angry, they would not show it in front of him. Little guy, what's the use of heavenly treasures for a little beast like you? You don't even know how to refine pills. How about I give you some jingshe? The head of the Qi family discussed with a smile. Crystals could be absorbed directly and were much more useful to the beastie than heavenly materials and earthly treasures. I don't want jingshe. I just want heavenly treasures. Little Qiu was very stubborn. Even if you want the treasures, you can't just ask for half of the compensation from the Grand Elder, right? Do you know how many there are? The head of the Yao family said, suppressing his anger. I know. I can count, don't try to fool me. Qiu reminded. The younger generation of your two families caused us to lose a lot of hair, so what's wrong with compensating us with some natural treasures? Do you have to be so petty? At this moment, the baby spoke with a look of disdain. Chapter 11:11, It's not our fault that we're cute. 3. The Qi and Yao family heads were speechless. It was clearly them who wanted too much, but why did it sound like they were being stingy? Ha ha ha. I say, it's rare for these two little guys to open their mouths, so just give it to them. Don't be so stingy, you are gods with status and status. The master of the Ning family, who had seen enough of the show, interrupted. All right, I agree to your compensation. The Chi family head gritted his teeth and nodded. He couldn't be looked down upon by these two little beasts. Besides, there was still the Ning family's old man who was ready to cause trouble at any time. You're the most straightforward old man. I'll remember you. Cho said with a smile. However, you have to plant the natural treasures we want in the soil. After you're done, well, go find them ourselves. Cho added, hee. Although this was suspicious of cheating, he still had to take advantage of the loopholes for the sake of cultivation. After hearing Cho's words, the Chi family head was completely speechless. Not only did he have to compensate the two little fellows for their treasures, but he also had to plant them back into the soil so that they could find them on their own. Did they think that this was a treasure hunt? Hee. That's a good idea. Little guys, you're pretty good at playing. Master Ning praised with a smile. Cho smiled but didn't say anything. Since they thought it was for fun, then let them think so, hee. All right, I've said what I wanted to say. You can leave. Cho mimicked the great elder's way of driving him away. The Chi family and the Yao family left the prison gloomily under the lead of the two family heads who were not in a good mood. However, the Ning family head and the elders of the Craftsmen's Association stayed. First elder, how long do you plan to stay here? An elder asked curiously. They were here to encourage the great elder. In other words, they were here to cooperate with the great elder in this robbery. However, looking at the situation just now, it seemed that there was no room for them to play. I'll leave after I get the compensation. The great elder said honestly. Old man Lu, you're really ruthless this time. The things you want, some of them even make my heart ache. Master Ning said, gloating. He had glanced at the list given by the first elder, so he naturally saw the contents. Ruthless? I've taken so many things from the Yao family, you should be very happy. The first elder said. Although the Ning family and the Yao family seemed to be at peace on the surface, they had fought many times in secret. Yes, I feel better. Not long ago, you also robbed me of a lot of things. This time, your armament guild headquarters is going to be rich again. Master Ning said with envy. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm, then who can you blame? The great elder rolled his eyes at Master Ning and said disapprovingly. Blame me, all right. Master Ning said unhappily. Hee. You 8 great clans are the richest in the divine realm. If I don't rob you, who else would I rob? The great elder chuckled. There had to be a reason for the robbery. Otherwise, it would be no different from daylight robbery. You've already robbed 3 of the 8 great clans. Do you want to rob the other 5 as well? Master Ning suggested. I want to, but I don't have any reason. The great elder's face was filled with conflict, and he seemed to be very distressed. If there's no reason, you can create a reason. However, you have to count me in this time. Master Ning said with an evil smile. Old man, are you very free recently? The first elder was suspicious. Yes, I've let Lan manage the family matters for the time being, so I'm planning to have some fun in the upper reaches of the godly mainland. Master Ning revealed his plan. Ah. So it was like this. However, you can't rush things like robbery. You must have the right time, the right place, and the right people. The great elder thought for a moment and said, hee. If this old thing joined them, wouldn't the compensation they received be doubled? There's no rush. When we find the right opportunity, we'll ruthlessly rip off those 5 families. Master Ning said with an evil smile. Listening to these 2 influential figures in the divine world discussing the robbery, the elders of the Craftsmen's Guild were dripping with cold sweat. However, at the same time, they were also somewhat glad that they were not the ones who were about to be robbed. Otherwise, they were afraid that they would not even be left with their bones. Great Elder Grandpa, this old grandpa is so bad. Listening to their plan, Cho also expressed his opinion. Ha ha ha. That's because this old man is full of evil intentions. The first elder said with a smile. Ah. Little thing, how am I bad? Master Ning felt wronged. You're scheming against others. Isn't that bad enough? Cho retorted. Ah. Master Ning was speechless. It seemed that this little thing had already determined his character. However, he seemed to be quite bad. Ha ha ha. Alright, don't be depressed anymore, go and help me scare that old bastard from the Yao family. The Grand Elder ordered. Ah. Are you afraid that he won't pay the compensation? Master Ning asked, knowing the answer. Of course, that old man won't give me the compensation so easily. However, if you do it, he will have to agree. The first elder laughed softly. What do I get in return? Master Ning was not willing to be used as a tool and asked quickly. You still want benefits? The great elder asked Master Ning with a faint smile. Ah. I'm just joking, don't take it seriously. Master Ning wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Although the great elder's strength was not as high as his, he was very afraid of the old man's threat. He didn't know why. Then hurry up. I'll be waiting for your good news. The Grand Elder urged. All right. Then I'll go. Master Ning said, resigned to his fate, and then turned to leave the cell. 2 days later. The Qi family's compensation was handed over to First Elder, but as for little Cho's request, it would take a few days. According to the news from the Qi clan, although Qi Yang and his son had managed to keep their lives, they had all been demoted to servants, and would never be able to rise again. To the members of the clan, such a punishment was even more unbearable than death. Chapter 11-12. It's not our fault that we're cute. 4. As for the Yao family, although they had also punished Yao Man, the compensation that the Great Elder and Cho had requested had not been delivered yet. However, there was still 1 day before the deadline given by the Great Elder, so the Great Elder and the others were extremely calm. In the cell, the First Elder and Master Ning were playing chess while waiting for the Yao family's news. At this moment, in the Yao family's residence, the Yao family head was sitting in the main hall with a gloomy face, and the Yao family's younger generation was kneeling in front of him. Yao Chong, is this how you manage the Yao family in the godly mainland? The Yao family head asked in a cold voice. Old ancestor, Yao Chong is guilty. Yao Chong said hurriedly. Although he did not know if he could escape this time, it was not wrong to admit to his crimes first. Guilty? What crime are you guilty of? The Yao family head asked angrily. I didn't educate my descendants well. I'm sorry to disappoint you, ancestor. Yao Chong lowered his head and said. This is only the case on the divine continent. If we were in the divine realm, your descendants would have caused a lot of trouble. The head of the Yao family reproached in a rage. Please forgive me, ancestor. Yao Chong kept kowtowing and quickly said. I can spare you from death, but I can't spare you from punishment. I'll still let you be the head of the family, but you have to find a way to make contributions in place of your crimes. As for your incompetent descendants, you can choose some of them yourself and send them to the mine. The Yao family head said. Yes. When Yao Chong heard this, he heaved a sigh of relief. Although the old ancestor was very angry, it was good that he did not kill everyone in his line. As for those who were really incompetent and had caused trouble, he would just let them run their own course. As for the members of the Yao family, especially those who were related to Yao Man, when they heard that they were going to be sent to the mine, they were so scared that they fainted immediately, because going to the mine was worse than being a servant. There, unless you're dead tired, don't even think about leaving. After dealing with the eyesore of the Yao family, the head of the Yao family was depressed again. As long as he thought of the huge compensation, his heart would bleed non-stop. However, he had to pay the compensation. The old man, the great elder, was famous for being difficult and unreasonable. He was also one of the people he didn't want to provoke the most. He had wanted to delay it for a few days and negotiate with the great elder, but he didn't expect that the Qi family had already paid the compensation. Moreover, Master Ning also came to remind him that since he couldn't avoid it, he might as well pay the compensation quickly, so as not to lose more than he gained. Although he knew this very well, he was not willing to accept this. Continue reading on MYB 0xN0VEL. Another 2 days passed. There was still no movement from the Yao clan, and the Grand Elder was still in the cell, but the Qi clan had already settled little Qiuqiu's request. The location of the treasure that little Qiuqiu had requested was chosen to be in the Qi family's courtyard. This was mainly because they had taken into account that Leng Ruoxue and the others were staying there. Therefore, it would be easier to find. After all, in the eyes of the Qi family, this was just a game to satisfy children. On the day of the treasure hunt, First Elder arranged for Lu Feng to continue staying in the prison cell, while he, Qiuqiu, and Bao Bao went to the Qi family's courtyard to explore. Naturally, the Ning family head and the elders of the Craftsmen's Guild came with them. In the garden, the first elder pointed at Master Ning and said to Leng Ruoxue and the rest, "This old man is the master of the Ning family. If anyone from the Ning family bullies you in the future, you can complain to him. I guarantee that he will be the master for you." Hearing the first elder's confident words, Leng Ruoxue's forehead broke out in cold sweat. She thought to herself, "First elder, where does your confidence come from?" In any case, he was the head of the Ning family, so how could he help an outsider? However, she naturally would not say this out loud. "Hee, this little girl must be the little girl Shui you told me about," Master Ning said with a smile, looking very affable. "Yes, this little girl is my god-granddaughter. You can't let her be bullied by the Ning family," the first elder said with a face full of pride. He even automatically considered Leng Ruoxue as his own granddaughter. "Don't worry, I'll take care of her." Master Ning's eyes kept sizing up Leng Ruoxue. The more he looked, the more satisfied he was. Although this little girl's strength was not very high now, she had great potential and was a talent that could be nurtured. The crowd listened to their conversation, but no one exposed the great elder's lies. In their eyes, the great elder had been thinking about their miss for a long time. While the few of them were exchanging pleasantries, Qiuqiu and Bao Bao were a little impatient from waiting, so they started to look for treasures first. Qiuqiu and its baby ran around the garden, looking here and there. Not long after, the natural treasures that the Qi clan had deliberately planted were discovered by the two little fellows. When everyone saw how happy they were, they couldn't help but join in the treasure-hunting army. A day passed, and Qiuqiu finally found all the natural treasures. It followed First Elder back to the prison cell in satisfaction. The Qi family members heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that they were finally satisfied. However, the great elder was still in the cell and refused to leave, which made them uneasy. The head of the Qi family thought for a while and also began to exert pressure on the Yao family. At the same time, the Alchemist Guild headquarters also sent people to Qi City to visit the great elder. When the Yao family head heard this news, his head suddenly swelled again, and he couldn't help but curse in his heart. What was the Alchemist Guild headquarters doing here? If the Alchemist Guild headquarters and the Armament Guild headquarters joined forces, it would be too disadvantageous to their Yao family. When he thought of this, he didn't dare to delay any longer and immediately sent someone to deliver the compensation to the first elder in the cell. However, the person he sent came back to report that the great elder had said that the time limit was up, so the Yao family had to pay interest. When the Yao family head saw the interest list, he really wanted to buy a piece of tofu and knock himself to death. Damn, this interest was too expensive. It actually took up 20% of the compensation that the Yao family had paid. However, he still had to resign himself to his fate and send someone to immediately send the interest to the great elder so as not to pay more compensation. As for Chocho's request, he would also have to wait a few days before he could fulfill it. 3 days later. The Yao family had finally completed Chocho's request, and the planting location was also chosen to be in the Qi family's courtyard. After everyone experienced the joy of treasure hunting once again, the great elder was finally willing to leave the cell. Before he left, he was quite reluctant and even left a message, "If there's a chance in the future, I'll come back and see you again." The Qi family's hearts trembled in fear, and they made a prompt decision to close the cell in Qi City. Chapter 11:13, It's Not Our Fault That We're Cute. 5. After this matter came to an end, First Elder also moved into the Qi family courtyard. However, as long as the Grand Elder and the others did not leave Qi City, the Qi family members' hearts were hanging in the air. They could not let go even if they wanted to. Furthermore, the head of the Qi family had warned the younger generation of the Qi family to stay far away from the people living in the courtyard. No one was allowed to provoke those people. He was truly afraid. From then on, the First Elder would take Chocho and Baby out on the streets when he had nothing to do. Along with them was the master of the Ning family. In the garden, Ling Ruoxue was lying on the deck chair, basking in the sun as she listened to Feng Die's report. When she heard that the Great Elder and Master Ning had gone out to hang out on the streets again, she could not help but feel a few black lines sliding down her forehead. She thought to herself, what's wrong with these two old men who only want to see the world in chaos? In the entire Qi City, who would dare to provoke them? The people on the street had already received the Qi family's warning. They would only hide far away when they saw them. Why would they approach them? Unless they were outsiders. On the streets, the Great Elder and Master Ning each carried a cute little beast and walked aimlessly on the street. The two kept instigating Chocho and the baby, who were already very cute, to put on a cute look to attract other people's attention. However, the pedestrians on the street had basically received a warning from the people above and knew that these two people and two beasts could not be provoked. How would they dare to throw away their lives in front of them? Just as the two young-looking old men were feeling extremely depressed, the person who was going to die finally arrived. Stop! I want to buy these two little beasts. State your price. Suddenly, a beautiful woman blocked their path and spoke arrogantly. The woman was dressed in gorgeous clothes and had an extremely beautiful face. She looked to be in her early 20s, but her arrogance greatly reduced her beauty. I'm sorry, these two little beasts are our precious treasures. We're not selling them. Master Ning frowned and said unhappily. You have to sell them. I've taken a fancy to these two little beasts, so you have to sell them to me. The young woman was unusually overbearing. Then, she threw 2 pieces of lower-grade crystal stones on the ground as the money to buy the two little beasts. Miss, are you trying to force me to buy it? The master of the Ning family laughed instead of getting angry. He had seen many willful and overbearing women, but he had never seen such a domineering woman. Even the daughter he doted on very much didn't dare to be like this outside. Didn't I already pay you guys? The young woman said unhappily, her face clearly saying, don't be insensible. A few big words. These 2 low-grade crystals on the ground are the money you want to buy our 2 cute little beasts? The Great Elder also asked curiously. Fuck. Whose daughter was this? He wasn't inferior to the one from the Yao family. In fact, he felt that this person was even more outrageous than the one from the Yao family. At least in his opinion, paying him 2 pieces of low-grade crystal stones was more humiliating than locking him up in a cell. Moreover, it seemed that he could only get one of these 2 crystal stones, and the other one was naturally Old Man Ning. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm, that's right, I've already paid you. These 2 little beasts are mine now. The young woman said matter-of-factly. AI. It's not our fault that we're cute. Chocho, who was in the First Elder's arms, suddenly sighed, its cute little face full of innocence. Its cute appearance made the young woman's heart itch. She wanted to hold the little beast in her arms right now. We're not selling. The head of the Ning family refused. Fuck, did he think they had never seen low-grade Jingshi? How dare you? My family's young miss wants to buy your beast pet, and you dare to refuse? You really don't want to live anymore. The woman didn't have time to get angry before her subordinate spoke up. Hee, this old man has lived for so long, but this is the first time someone has dared to speak to me like this. The master of the Ning family smiled faintly. In his eyes, that person was no different from a dead person. This should be my second time. First elder thought for a moment and agreed. No matter how many times you've tried, you're all dead today. That person said, using his authority as a fox to intimidate others. At this time, he still didn't know that his head was already on the verge of collapse. Is that so? The master of the Ning family sneered. Although they had come out to wait for rabbits, it did not mean that they were willing to be humiliated by rabbits. These rabbits had lived to the end. Of course. The man said arrogantly before he sensed any danger. However, in the blink of an eye, that person's head and body were separated. Seeing this, the young woman couldn't help but scream, "Arg! Murder! Hurry up! Quickly catch them, don't let them escape. Also, remember to take my 2 little beasts for me." Yes. The woman's guards received the order to surround the great elder and the master of the Ning family, but in an instant, those guards all fell to the ground, unconscious. No one even saw how the great elder and the master of the Ning family had attacked. After dealing with the guards, the great elder and the master of the Ning family slowly walked to the young woman and looked down at her. They slightly released a trace of pressure, which immediately made the woman shiver in fear. Don't do anything stupid. Do you know who I am? If you dare to hurt me, my family will not let you off. The young woman held on and even took out a token she carried with her as a threat. When the first elder saw the token the young woman took out, he couldn't help but laugh wildly. The master of the Ning family, on the other hand, turned around and left with a dark face. Hey, wait for me. The great elder shouted from behind in a good mood. However, the master of the Ning family didn't seem to hear the great elder's words. Instead, he walked faster and faster. When he returned to the Qi family's courtyard, he went straight into his room. Leng Ruoxue, who was basking in the sun in the garden, saw a black shadow flash by and heard a bang. The door closed, and her curiosity was piqued. Was that the master of the Ning family? Leng Ruoxue asked the evildoer beside her with uncertainty. Yes. The demon nodded. The Ning family's old man was also living in a side courtyard and was their neighbor. Didn't he go to the streets with the great elder? Why did you come back so quickly? Leng Ruoxue was puzzled. It looked like this old man from the Ning family was quite angry. He did not know who had provoked him. Not long after, First Elder also returned with a face full of smiles. When Leng Ruoxue saw the evil smile on First Elder's face, she couldn't help but guess. Could it be that First Elder had angered Master Ning? These 2 old men also liked to bicker when they had nothing to do. Little girl, is old man Ning back? First Elder asked in a low voice. Yes, he went into his room as soon as he came back. First Elder, did you anger him? Leng Ruoxue asked nosily. It has nothing to do with me. First Elder quickly said. It has nothing to do with me, Qiu also said. You guys went out together, so it has nothing to do with you. Did you guys meet someone blind? Leng Ruoxue guessed as her beautiful eyes kept wandering between First Elder and Qiu. It's not our fault that we're cute. Qiu had an aggrieved look on its face. It was also deeply helpless that the First Elder and Master Ning had used them as bait. After all, the First Elder's incident wasn't intentional by them, but this time, was it intentional? Qiu was a little confused. Which family is it this time? Hearing Qiu's words, Leng Ruoxue didn't need to guess to understand. However, to be able to make Master Ning so angry, Could it be? Ah. It couldn't be such a coincidence, right? Hee hee. Little girl, it's what you're thinking. The great elder said with a smirk. He wanted to laugh whenever he thought about this. Ah. Leng Ruoxue was speechless. It did not feel good to cast a net and catch one of her own. It was no wonder the master of the Ning family was so angry. At this moment, the butler of the courtyard came to report. Miss Leng, Master Ning is here, the housekeeper said. The Master Ning he was referring to was the master of the Ning family on the divine mainland. This. You should ask the person he wants to see. I can't make the decision. Leng Ruoxue and First Elder exchanged glances and spoke calmly. That Master Ning definitely wouldn't come to see her, so she didn't dare to make the decision to let him in. What's more, the old man Ning was in a fit of anger at this time, and she didn't want to touch that bad luck. However, before the housekeeper could ask, Master Ning's angry voice came from the room. Tell him to get as far away as he can, I don't want to see him. Chapter 11-14, Meeting but not knowing each other, 1, The butler was caught in a dilemma when he heard the words coming from the room. Just as he was in a dilemma, Leng Ruoxue came to his rescue. Let's tell Master Ning on the godly mainland. Leng Ruoxue laughed lightly. Although they were both masters of the Ning family, their power and status were worlds apart. She didn't understand why the butler was hesitating. Yes. The butler heaved a sigh of relief. Although he was the butler of the Qi family, no matter which Master Ning he was not someone a small figure like him could afford to offend. So, he had to be careful. After the butler left, Leng Ruoxue looked at the First Elder and chuckled, Aren't you going to comfort your old friend? Tisk, why should I comfort him? Don't worry about him. He'll be fine after he's vented enough. The Great Elder said disapprovingly. After he finished speaking, he carried little Qiu and casually found a place to sit down. The master of the Ning family in the godly mainland was extremely depressed after being rejected by his ancestor. He resentfully returned to the guest room in the Qi family's main residence and locked himself in his room. Qi Rui, who had accompanied him, was full of doubts, but he could not say much in front of Master Ning. After watching Master Ning enter the room, he went to find his grandfather. In the study room. Qi Yuan sat behind the desk and looked at Qi Rui thoughtfully. You said that Master Ning didn't see his family's old ancestor. After a long while, Qi Yuan finally opened his mouth and asked. No. The steward said that the patriarch of the Ning family asked Master Ning to get lost as far as possible. Qi Rui suppressed his laughter and chuckled. The housekeeper of the courtyard was really honest. He dared to say this kind of thing in front of Master Ning. Was he not afraid of Master Ning's revenge? As far as he knew, the current master of the Ning family on the divine mainland wasn't a magnanimous person. Ah. What's going on? Qi Yuan asked curiously. If it was before today, he definitely wouldn't be this curious. After all, their Qi family had been troubled a few days ago, and they were badly battered by the Great Elder. However, now that the Great Elder's matter had finally come to an end, he finally had the time to watch the other families' excitement. Almost all the people from the big families were like this. When their own family was in trouble, they naturally didn't want to see other families in trouble. If someone else was also in trouble at this time, they would feel more balanced in their hearts. This was exactly what Qi Yuan was thinking now. I don't know, do you want me to go and find out? Qi Rui was also quite curious about this. At that moment, the butler came to report that Miss Ning had been beaten up on the street. Continue reading on MYB 0xN0VEL. Calm after the grandfather and grandson heard the news, they looked at each other and went to the Ning family's temporary courtyard together, and came to see the fun in the name of visiting. In the guest room. Ning Rong-er's beautiful eyes were filled with tears as she cried to her grandfather master about how she had been bullied. Grandpa, you have to help me. Those two bad guys actually dared to bully our Ning family. Woo, they really don't put our Ning family in their eyes. Ning Rong said viciously. Rong what did those two look like? Are there any special characteristics? The head of the Ning family, Ning Hong, couldn't help but ask. This Rong had come back and said that she had been bullied and that her guards had been killed. However, she didn't give a clear explanation and even wanted him to avenge her. She didn't even know who the enemy was. Who could he find to avenge her? Is Miss Ning being bullied? When Qi Yuan and Qi Rui walked into the guest room, they happened to hear Ning Rong talking about revenge. Yes, Grandpa Qi, you have to help me. I was bullied in your Qi city. Ning Rong quickly said. When Qi Yuan heard Ning Rong's words, he was a little displeased. He thought to himself, who doesn't know eldest Miss Ning's temper? It was already good enough that Ning Rong didn't bully others. Who would dare to bully her? However, looking at Ning Rong's pitiful appearance, it seemed like she had really been bullied. When he thought of this, he couldn't help but be curious about the person who dared to bully Ning Rong, and the fire of gossip started to burn. Putting aside his displeasure towards Ning Rong, for the time being, Qi Yuan asked with slight concern, Rong, you have so many guards by your side, and there's still someone who dares to bully you? Who is so bold? I don't know either, but my guards were all killed by them. I only scared them away because I took out the Ning family's token. Ning Rong still had lingering fear in her heart. Oh. What did that person look like? Qi Yuan asked again. It's not one person, but two. They looked like humans and dogs. I can't remember them, but I do remember the appearance of the two little beasts. At that time, Ning Rong's mind was completely focused on the two little beasts, so she didn't pay attention to the first elder and Master Ning's appearance at all. Therefore, now that someone asked, she naturally could only say that she didn't know. Little beastie. When Qi Yuan heard these two words, he immediately became alert. Now, as long as someone mentioned a little beast to him, he would reflexively think of the two that the great elder had with him. If it wasn't for those two little beasts, the Qi family wouldn't have to spend so much money. What kind of little beast? Qi Rui was shocked and couldn't help but ask. Two very cute little beasts, one black and one yellow. I originally bought the two little beasts for 2 low-grade crystals, but those two old farts took the money and refused to give me the little beasts. They even killed my subordinates. Woo! Grandpa Qi, you have to avenge me. Ning Rong said through gritted teeth. Ah! We need to plan our revenge carefully. After all, you don't even know what their parents look like. They might have left Qi City long ago. Qi Yuan comforted him speechlessly, then looked at Ning Hong with a little sympathy. He couldn't help but gloat in his heart. As soon as Ning Rong described the two little beasts, he had already guessed who had killed Ning Rong's guards. It was going to be a lively scene. Brother Qi is right. Rong, think carefully, what did those two look like? Ning Hong felt that Qi Yuan's words made sense and asked. I really can't remember. However, if I see those two little beasts again, I'll definitely recognize them. Ning Rong promised. Chapter 11:15, Meeting but not knowing each other. 2. Since that's the case, Rong, you have a good rest. Well, go back first. After understanding the truth, Qi Yuan and Qi Rui decided to take their leave. At the same time, the two of them sighed in unison. When you see those two little beasts, I'm afraid your death will be near. Sigh. Because the two people who killed the Ning family's guards, other than the head elder of the Craftsmen's Guild and the Ning family's old ancestor, there would be no other candidates. On the way back to the main courtyard, Qi Yuan and Qi Rui did not say a word. However, after returning to the study room, the two of them could not help but laugh wildly, causing Qi Tong, who had come to look for them, to be baffled. Family head, Rui, is there anything fun? Why are you guys laughing so happily? Chi Tong's face was filled with question marks. Recently, the entire Chi city had been in a state of panic because of the existence of the great elder of the Craftsmen's Guild and the Ning family's old ancestor. Many people were afraid that they would accidentally offend those people, so they lived in fear every day. In fact, he really wanted to say that the great elder and the Ning family's old ancestor were not that scary. Unfortunately, no one would believe his words. It can't be considered anything fun. Chi Yuan laughed as he waved his hand. Then, he simply explained the entire situation to Chi Tong, causing Chi Tong to be dumbstruck. Ah! This is too much of a coincidence. Chi Yi was speechless. This time, the Ning family had bumped into their own old ancestor's hands. He was afraid that there would be a great earthquake in the Ning family. It's that Ning Rong heir's bad luck. She didn't know how to behave when she came to Chi City. She really thinks this is her own territory. Chi Yuan said without any sympathy. What do we do now? Chi Tong could not help but ask. I don't know. Let's just wait and see. Anyway, it doesn't have much to do with us. However, First Elder, you must warn the elders to strictly restrain their subordinates. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. Chi Yuan thought for a while and said. Don't worry, I've already told them this. Chi Tong hurriedly said. Because the three of them who knew the truth pretended to be deaf, the people of the Ning family didn't know that they had fallen into danger because of Ning Rong heir's pampering and domineering behavior. After hearing that Ning Rong was injured and the Ning family's guards were killed, each of the Ning family's people was filled with righteous indignation and began to search for the great elder and their own ancestor on the streets in anger. At this moment, the Qi family courtyard was peaceful. Leng Ruoxue and the others, who were living in seclusion, did not pay attention to the situation in Qi City. Instead, it was Qi Rui who revealed the situation to them. In the garden. Leng Ruoxue looked at Qi Rui thoughtfully, a faint smile on her beautiful face. Ah! Miss Leng, please don't look at me like that. I'm scared. Qi Rui said nervously. Leng Ruoxue's gaze made him feel very apologetic. What are you afraid of? Did you do anything to let me down? Leng Ruoxue laughed evilly and thought to herself, this Qi family is really bad. They actually feign ignorance, watching the Ning family search for a needle in a haystack in the city like fools while I watch the fun from the side. However, this matter has nothing to do with me, so I'm happy to be a bystander. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. That. Has Master Ning not come out of his room yet? Although Qi Rui was a little embarrassed, he still could not help but ask. No, he has been locking himself in his room since he came back from the street yesterday. I don't know what he is doing. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Did he have any reaction? Qi Rui asked nosily. I'm very angry. I don't know who's going to be unlucky again. Leng Ruoxue said, gloating. After finding out that the woman who had annoyed Master Ning yesterday was Ning Rong, she couldn't help but sigh. The world was really small. However, if Master Ning could help them deal with Ning Rong it would save her a lot of trouble. Because that Ning Rong was the young lady of the Ning family that she had once stolen the token from. Qi family brat, where are the unfilial descendants of the Ning family now? Just as Leng Ruoxue and Qi Rui were chatting, Master Ning's voice suddenly reached their ears. However, the old man didn't show himself, obviously still in a fit of anger. They are temporarily staying in the guest room of the Qi family's main residence. Qi Rui quickly replied respectfully. Oh. I'm going to give you a mission. Master Ning said. Please speak, Master Ning. Qi Rui said. Chase them away. Master Ning said angrily. Ah. Master Ning, this isn't very good. Although Qi Rui really wanted to take on this task, he was not willing to be used by the Ning family's ancestor. After all, in his opinion, this was an internal matter of the Ning family. If the Qi family got involved, what if the Ning family retaliated after this? The Ning family was the #1 family in the divine world after the divine master. They were not people the Qi family could provoke. What's wrong with that? Just do what I tell you to do. Master Ning shouted. Master Ning, you're the old ancestor, but you didn't show up. You asked young Master Qi to drive people away for you. You're obviously trying to make young Master Qi offend people. Leng Ruoxue chuckled. This was exactly what Qi Rui wanted to say, but he didn't have the guts to say it. Little girl, are you blaming me? Master Ning was a little unhappy. He had never thought that his decision would be questioned by a junior, which put him in an awkward position. I don't think so. I just feel that it's inappropriate for you to let young Master Qi do this. Why don't you and the Great Elder go there personally? Leng Ruoxue suggested and thought to herself, I wonder if the Ning family would recognize me, their old ancestor. Hee hee. I'm looking forward to it. Little girl, don't think that I don't know what you're up to. Humph. It's no big deal for me to make a trip personally. Master Ning said nonchalantly. Actually, he did not want to go, but he could not stand Leng Ruoxue's provocation. He could not be looked down upon by a little girl. Then you can personally drive them away. Young Master Qi, you must always stay by Master Ning's side. Leng Ruoxue reminded him with an evil smile. This was a good opportunity to watch a good show. Although she also wanted to go, she still had to leave some face for this Master Ning. Moreover, even if she couldn't see it in person, she could guess what would happen there, and the Great Elder would tell them in detail. Humph. Qi family brat, take me to those unfilial descendants. As soon as Master Ning finished speaking, the door of the room was also slammed. He opened it, and the master of the Ning family appeared in front of everyone, still angry. Chapter 11:16, Meeting but not knowing each other. 3. Leng Ruoxue looked at Master Ning's expression and laughed to herself. It was said that the higher one's cultivation, the calmer one would be. Why was this old man becoming more and more popular? Ah. Miss Leng, then I'll take Master Ning there. Although he didn't want to go, he couldn't let Leng Ruoxue's painstaking efforts go to waste. After all, Leng Ruoxue had spoken up for him just now. It was just that he didn't know if their Qi family would be implicated after watching this show. Sob. Don't even try to guess the thoughts of important people. Kid from the Qi family, don't forget about me. Seeing the two of them preparing to leave, the ignored first elder hurriedly said. What are you doing, you old thing? Master Ning's eyes were wide open, and he said unhappily. I'm also a party involved. You can't leave me behind. The Great Elder said matter-of-factly, but anyone could tell that he wanted to watch the show. Humph. If you want to go, go. However, you're not allowed to speak. Master Ning thought for a while and said. Yes, I won't say anything. The Great Elder quickly promised. At the same time, he added in his heart, I'll just watch the show. With the first elder's assurance, Master Ning ordered Qi Rui to take the two of them to the Qi family's main residence. The moment they arrived at the Qi family's main residence, Qi Yuan and Qi Tong, who had received the news, immediately came over to greet them. After the Great Elder explained the purpose of his visit to the two of them, he repeatedly told them not to speak for a while and only allowed Master Ning to speak. Then, he had them take him to the guest room of the Qi family. Outside the courtyard of the Qi family's guest room, the Great Elder winked at the three people of the Qi family, and the four of them walked behind Master Ning tacitly. Now, it was clear that they were escorting Master Ning to ask for forgiveness, but Master Ning naturally didn't think of this in his anger. Master Ning strode straight into the courtyard, but as soon as he showed his head, he was discovered by Ning Rong, who was resting in the courtyard. Instantly, Ning Rong shouted, "He's the one who killed our Ning family. Men, quickly capture him." In fact, she didn't really recognize Master Ning, but she recognized the little black beast in Master Ning's arms at a glance. She had been drooling over the little beast for a long time. After hearing Ning Rong's shout, the people of the Ning family in the room and courtyard all rushed over and surrounded Master Ning. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm, and that old man. Ning Rong saw First Elder and Chiu in his arms again, and quickly said, "Humph." She didn't expect Grandpa Chi to catch these two people so quickly. This was great. She couldn't help but feel a little proud. Now, those two adorable little beasts couldn't escape from her palm. Ugh! When Chi Yuan, Chi Tong, and Chi Rui heard Ning Rong's words, none of them spoke, because the First Elder had told them not to speak. However, his intention to watch a good show was revealed. Hee hee. This time, Ning Rong was going to be unlucky. At this moment, Ning Hong, who had heard the commotion, also walked out of his room. After seeing the situation in the courtyard, he asked calmly, "Rong, what's going on?" "Grandfather, you've come at the right time. These two are the ones who killed our Ning family's guards. Quickly capture them and don't let them go." Ning Rong quickly urged. "Are you sure?" Ning Hong's shrewd eyes swept between the Great Elder and Master Ning. They looked extraordinary and didn't seem to be unreasonable people. How could he have taken his granddaughter's money and killed someone? When he thought of this, a trace of doubt appeared in his heart. "May I ask why the two of you took my granddaughter's money and killed our Ning family's guards? If the two of you can't give me a reasonable explanation, don't blame our Ning family for being ruthless." Ning Hong said politely. "She said we took her money." Master Ning squinted his eyes and asked indifferently. "You've already taken my money. Hurry up and give me my beastie. Otherwise, you'll be dead." Ning Rong shouted. "May I ask how much we charged you?" Master Ning laughed instead of getting angry. "He took 2 of my low-grade jingsher." Ning Rong said righteously, because she had indeed given it to them, even though they didn't want it. "You want to buy our beastie for 2 low-grade crystal stones? Do you think we're beggars that you can just give us some money?" Master Ning was speechless. How could the Ning family have such a descendant? He really wanted to strangle such an unfilial descendant. "How many more do you want? It's already good enough that the eldest daughter of the Ning family is willing to give you some money for your things." Ning Rong said with a smug look. The meaning of her words was that the things that she wanted from them should be given to her on their own accord. Miss Ning is so overbearing. "I've gained some insight today," Master Ning said with a smile. "Humph. You've killed our Ning family, so don't even think about leaving here alive today. However, if you take the initiative to hand over these 2 little beasts and compensate me for my losses, maybe I'll let you die a little faster when I'm in a good mood." Ning Rong boasted shamelessly. After hearing her words, Chi Yuan, Chi Tong, and Chi Rui broke out in cold sweat. This Miss Ning Rong was really too awesome. However, if she knew that the person standing in front of them was their old ancestor, and that the person she wanted to kill was also their old ancestor, who knew how she would react? Thinking of this, the 3 of them couldn't help but look forward to it. Similarly, the Great Elder was also looking forward to it. At this moment, he was secretly happy. Hee hee. Old Man Ning's descendant's words were truly shocking. However, this descendant of the Ning family actually couldn't even recognize his own ancestor. He was indeed a weirdo. AI. He was afraid that the Ning family would not be able to recover in a while. He knew the old man of the Ning family too well. If he was really angry, it meant that the matter was not too big. However, once he smiled, it indicated that the matter was irreversible. If it was said that Old Man Ning was angry at his own descendant for being so disappointing and falling into his hands, then he was completely disappointed in this descendant now. What if I don't want to hand these two little beasts over to you, and I don't want to compensate you for any losses? Master Ning asked curiously. If he did as Ning Rong said, he would die a little faster. What if he didn't? He really wanted to know how he would die. Chapter 11-17, Meeting but not knowing each other. 4. Then it'll definitely make you wish you were dead. Humph. Why are you still standing there? Hurry up and capture these two. Ning Rong ordered the Ning family. However, none of the Ning family members in the courtyard made a move. Instead, they all looked at Ning Hong. Rong, you're not allowed to be unreasonable. Ning Hong said loudly. This granddaughter of his had been spoiled. She was getting more and more overbearing. He was still here, and she dared to make decisions. Moreover, his granddaughter's poor judgment didn't mean that he didn't have the same judgment. The innate superior temperament of these two people was too obvious, so Ning Hong absolutely didn't dare to act rashly before he figured out their identities. After all, in the divine realm, the Ning family was still unable to cover the sky with one hand. Grandfather, it's obvious that they deserve to die. How can you shout at me? Ning Rong said, feeling wronged. You shut up. Ning Hong roared. The most important thing now was to figure out the identity of these two people. If they didn't have any backing, then killing them would be fine. You two, please give me an explanation. Ning Hong looked at Master Ning and said. There's nothing to explain. The Ning family's guards were indeed killed by me. However, I didn't take any low-grade jingsher. Master Ning's tone was cold. Grandpa, I'm not lying, am I? He admitted it himself. Ning Rong said happily when she saw that the other party had confessed. Since you admit that you killed someone from the Ning family, I can only apologize to you. However, the Ning family doesn't kill nameless people. Please state your name. Ning Hong said after the other party admitted it. However, he still had to figure out the other party's identity. Do you really want to know my name? Master Ning raised his eyes and asked calmly. Of course, not everyone has the right to die at the hands of our Ning family. Ning Hong said rather self-deprecatingly. However, no one has called me by my name for a long time. My descendants all call me Master or Ancestor, while my old friends call me Old Man Ning. Master Ning said casually. Ah. Old Man Ning. Your surname is also Ning? Ning Hong was stunned and asked dumbly. Yup. My surname is also Ning, do you think we're a family? Master Ning said with a faint smile. Continue reading on MYB0XN0VEL. Calm Ning Hong's heart couldn't help but skip a beat when he heard this. A bad feeling instantly welled up in his heart. This person's surname was also Ning, and he appeared in Qi City again. Ah. He can't be the Ning family's old ancestor, right? At the thought of this possibility, Ning Hong broke out in a cold sweat, and his legs began to tremble. No, it couldn't be such a coincidence. Who are you? Ning Hong asked, suppressing his fear. Ning Hong, you don't even recognize me? Master Ning glared at him and asked. Oh, old ancestor. Ning Meng's legs gave way and she knelt on the ground. It really was the ancestor. What? What should I do? This time, they were dead for sure. Although he did find the old ancestor familiar, he had never thought in that direction. Humph. Ning Hong, how dare you? You even want to kill me? Master Ning's powerful aura was exposed. Under the pressure, the people of the Ning family present couldn't bear it. They knelt on the ground collectively, their bodies trembling. Grandpa, who is he? Ning Rong Heir's face was filled with disbelief. Why did they all kneel down? Although she was also kneeling, she was still a little confused. Shut up. Hurry up and beg for forgiveness from the ancestor. Ning Hong roared angrily. He finally understood why the Qi family's old ancestor had told him to get lost when he had gone to the Qi family's courtyard to ask for an audience. It was all because of Ning Rong. Thinking of this, he didn't even think about it. Pa! A slap landed on Ning Rong-er's face. In an instant, half of her face swelled up. Grandpa, you actually hit me? Ning Rong-er couldn't accept this fact. She was also suspicious of the identity of the person in front of her. After all, she was born on the divine mainland and had never seen the old ancestor. Now that her grandfather had hit her because of someone she suspected to be the old ancestor, she naturally felt indignant. Quickly apologized to the ancestor. Otherwise, well, punish you. Ning Hong glared at her and shouted. Although Ning Rong-er was his most beloved granddaughter, the person she had offended was the Ning family's supreme ancestor. She had also caused his entire family to be in a difficult situation. How could he care about whether Ning Rong-er was wronged or not? AI. Now, he was filled with regret. Why did he bring Ning Rong-er to Qi City? If he didn't bring her here, wouldn't this matter not have happened? Grandfather, are you sure he's really our Ning family's ancestor? Ning Rong made up her mind and was ready to go all out. Impudent, is there anyone else who would dare to impersonate our Ning family's old ancestor? Ning Hong was so angry. Towards Ning Rong-er's disregard for the big picture, he was extremely disgusted and didn't value her that much anymore. That might not be the case. Ning Rong said, unwilling to give up. Ha ha ha. First elder laughed joyfully, but he still didn't say anything. Damn old man, what are you laughing at? Don't you want to live? Ning Rong could hear the great elder's mockery and shouted in displeasure. I say, old Ning. Even if you don't let me speak, I still have to say it. Your Ning family's upbringing is so good that I have nothing to say. A junior not only shouted at me, but also said that I don't want to live anymore. AI. My fragile little heart is injured again, you have to compensate me for my loss. The Grand Elder said with a heartbroken expression. You can do whatever you want with this thing. Master Ning pointed at Ning Rong-er and said. I don't want this thing. If I kill her, it'll dirty my hands. If I don't kill her, it'll be wasting food to feed her, so you better compensate me. I like compensation. The First Elder said with a smile. Other than her, there's no other compensation. The master of the Ning family roared miserably. Damn it, he was already angry enough, and this stinky old man actually came to ask for help. Did he think that he was not angry enough? I said I don't want her. First Elder warned. Whether you want her or not, from now on, she's yours. You can do whatever you want with her. In the future, this person's matters have nothing to do with the Ning family. Master Ning opened his mouth wide and decided Ning Rong-er's future fate. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.